O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This is
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning. Yes, it's a hump day. It's a beautiful day. We made it to another day here in paradise. Welcome aboard to the show. As you heard the man with the pipes say, appreciate all of you as you get ready to get situated, sit down, whether you're in your car, in your office, at home, wherever it is, you're downloading the show later on in the afternoon, the evenings. And by the way, again, thank you so much. Another record day of downloads yesterday. It just continues to go way up, and it's beautiful. Today marks a month that we restarted. We started on the 14th of last month, and we're well over 6 digits in downloads. So thank you, incredible support from all of you out there. It's incredibly flattering, and I can't say enough. All of you out there for your support as always, whether you're smashing the like button, whatever it is that you're doing to support us. Visit our sponsors, incredibly important as we, build back our sponsors here. And then if there's some other sponsors that want to be involved in our show, please reach out to me on my Twitter page at Big O Show. You can DM me there. The DMs are open. So if you want to reach out to me and you think your business is a perfect fit for us, we would love to have you on and grow with us, because we got a lot of things that we want to do on this show. We want to provide South Florida sports fans the best hardcore sports talk show that's out there. And, hopefully we'll have an announcement next week on something else that we're adding to the program as we continue to add. It was going to happen this week, but it got pushed back a couple of days. So hopefully we'll get it all done on Monday, maybe by Tuesday. We're going to be announcing another big addition to the show, and something that you guys are going to be looking forward to all the time here on the program as we continue to expand all of this stuff. Because remember, the idea is to not just put together the best people that cover sports and being able to talk every day and actually give you guys a legitimate sports talk show and have some fun. But, I want to get to doing some of the things that I've done in the past, covering the offseason in football. Maybe we expand and we can cover more of the basketball stuff. I was talking to Ira about that I'd like for this show to travel out to the Vegas Summer League. I was just going back and forth with Brian Carroll. I don't know if Brian is watching or maybe he downloads the show later on, but he lives in Vegas, and we were actually talking about a specific bar, and he was sending me the pictures and all that stuff. And so we've got plenty of connections in Vegas. So the Vegas Summer League would be something that I would love to go down there and be a part of and go check it out and do a show at the same time, do several shows out there and bring you guys the insight that real sports shows should be doing. And, you're not going to get that from the garbage that's in town, because those companies don't care about us. They're not us. They don't care about teams like we do. They don't care about our town like we do. You know what I mean? And so this is your show. And by the way, you guys are the ones that continue to add not just adding stuff to the show. Okay. Not just adding stuff that you guys, and I haven't been able to add everything that's been given to me too. That's been the other issue, trying to squeeze everything in there. But you guys have done. I mean, here's another one. You told me to open up Venmo, didn't you? You guys said, hey, go get Venmo because more people use Venmo and all that good stuff. Well, guess what? We got Venmo now. So now when you reach out to the show, you are going to be able to send us a donation by Venmo or by Cash App. So that's a beautiful thing. And why is this thing on there? Okay, there we go. No. All right, hi. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so on Venmo and Cash App now, it's Cash Big O Show. All right, so we'll see who breaks the ice on the first Venmo, because apparently, I guess you guys said more people use Venmo. So I got the same name and everything, Cash Big O Show, on both Venmo and Cash App. So whether it's either one, Cash Big O Show, you can send it in. I appreciate it. And by the way, Ray, I got your Cash App yesterday towards the end of the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate it as always. Thank you all out there. So there you go. Again, you guys continue to contribute to the show one way or another and giving us ideas on what we should add to the program. So thank you all out there. I can't say enough about what you guys are contributing to our show. So thank you all out there. I see the chat board is getting loaded up. Yesterday, we saw the American League beat the National League. And listen, I'm not going to get into a ton of baseball talk because I know how it is with baseball. And wait a minute, I'm sorry. Where are we at here? Looking for my damn pen. Oh man. All right, let me see. Did I drop it? Oh man. All right. Let me see if I find a pen while I'm talking. But anyway, so baseball, yesterday we had the All-Star game, and the American League ended up winning 5-2 in that one. And listen, when the one thing I will tell you about yesterday's game is that I enjoyed it. I did. I have to admit, I enjoyed watching the All-Star game yesterday. I enjoyed the interaction, Tatis Jr. being mic'd up the entire time. Guerrero ends up getting the MVP, Ohtani, the show that is Ohtani, all these kind of things. To me, it was actually entertaining. Now, I'm a baseball guy. I do love baseball. Do I love it more than football? No, I don't. And do I love it more than basketball? No, I don't. It's gone a little down on the totem pole for me, but it's still a priority. I'll still play fantasy baseball. I love the game. It's fun to watch. I enjoy it. Now this game, okay, this game is not nearly as entertaining as it used to be. I get all of that. The home run or strikeout frustrates me. But I will say yesterday was a really nice stage for baseball. And they provided entertainment yesterday. I don't know how many of you took the time to watch the games yesterday and enjoy it, or if you did enjoy it, or maybe you just turned it off and it wasn't enjoyable for you. I mean, outside of the uniforms, that was the only thing that sucked about the game. Those uniforms were just terrible. Man, what's wrong with just American and national? Well, I mean, sometimes some things aren't broken, so you don't have to fix them. The Dolphin logo was never broken. You didn't have to fix the Dolphin logo. You didn't have to put that stinking whale there. No, you keep that one right there. You see? See that one right there above my head? That one. You keep that logo. You don't need to change the damn logo. Green Bay doesn't change their logo. Why would you? It's perfect. You know what I mean? So the All-Star game, they get all fancy and they try it. Now, I don't know if it's a marketing thing, so you can have different jerseys every year, and it forces people to want to buy their favorite player that made it to the All-Star game or whatever. I don't know what kind of mental masturbation they're going through on all of that. But yesterday, the game itself, okay, enough of the uniforms. The game itself was fun. Watching these guys, whether it's pitching, whether it's watching them hit, the personality with Tatis. And again, this is something that, Screaming A touched on with Ohtani, which he was 1,000% right. He doesn't have to apologize, any of that crap. Yeah, I saw Jeff Passan yesterday get on his high horse. And look, this always happens, right? You have the people that cover a specific sport. And if you insult their sport, right? Because that's the sport they work in, and you're trying to hurt their sport, you're going to hurt them in passing, right? So Jeff Passan is an MLB insider. So he gets all touchy on the Ohtani situation, and he says this.
Shohei Ohtani came to this country at 23 years old. He left behind his family. He left behind his culture. He left behind his country. He left behind everything he knows to go and pursue the American dream. He wanted to come here and be great. And he is the sort of person who this show and who this network and who this country should embrace. We are not the ones who should be trafficking in ignorance.
Now, I know the cut at the end kind of fails with the ignorance part. There's no ignorance. Oh, by the way, somebody tell Jeff Passan that, I don't know, a couple million Cubans have done the same thing. A couple million Haitians have done the same thing. I don't know. So somebody tell Jeff Passan that hundreds of millions of people over time have come to this country and left their cultures behind and left their families behind and left their countries behind and left everything that they know behind to come here, okay? That's nothing new. What Ohtani's doing is nothing new. I'm not sure if he knows this. I mean, there are Haitians and Cubans that put their lives on the line and get on a raft and hope they don't get sucked up by the Gulf and sent into the Atlantic. And they risk everything to come here. Nobody's picking on that, Jeff. So get off the high horse. Nobody's talking about that. Plenty of Americans have made their way from other countries to get away from whatever financial, communist, socialist, whatever issue is going on with their country. They've all escaped to come here and get a better life. And we're all children of those people that have come across from different parts of the world. So what Ohtani's doing is nothing new in America. So let's not make it that. And it had nothing to do. Everything that Stephen A was talking about kind of came to head last night, because what you did with Tatis, you can't do with Ohtani. And it's not a shot against Ohtani. It's not a shot against the individual itself. The shot is against baseball. That baseball is brought down because they don't have enough players that can market it. Even the ones that speak English don't know how to market their own damn sport and the players itself. So if your stars can't speak English, that's going to be a problem, Jeff. But I mean, listen, seam heads don't, sometimes some of these guys that cover baseball, it's like they live in this world that they don't want to almost admit to themselves that baseball's going down the shitter. You know, it's rounding the toilet. You know, you flushed it and it's about to go down. And last night, I'm seeing something that, like, these are little issues. These are little things that you can build on, like a Tatis and some of these other cats. You know, because they're while they're Latin kids, they're Americanized, which is a beautiful thing. So you've got to find those kind of guys that can market the game, have some fun. Again, go back to my conversation with Jazz Chisholm about 2 years ago at Marlins Fan Fest. It's there in the podcast. You can see the video, you can see the audio, whatever it is, whichever one you want to go back to. And we talked about marketing. You need personalities. It's not Ohtani's fault. And it's not any other Hispanic player's fault, but it is a problem for baseball. And whether Passan or anybody else wants to admit it, that's what it is. And last night was one of those moments that you've got to find a way of your baseball to build on, dude. You've got to make Tatis, who's a monster, you know, a guy that gets marketed all over the place, a guy that's on social media. All of those kind of things you need to take advantage of. And the guys that can speak English, the guys that can communicate, and this is an issue, like we said yesterday. It's not just the Marlins or baseball. This is an issue, like I told you, right down the street, the Panthers. It's an issue for them because they got a bunch of Europeans that can barely speak English, and they have no personality, and they sound like robots, and they can't sell the game. So the only way they're going to be able to sell is to be incredibly good. Like win big, and then maybe you can get people on board, but you're not going to connect with people if you don't reach out to them. You know, it's impossible to connect with people if you don't reach out to them. So that's why, to me, yesterday was a perfect, actually, it backed up some of what Screaming A was talking about. Because those are the moments. I thought yesterday baseball had a really nice moment, man. With the All-Star game, they had center stage. NBA playoffs were off again. They're on back on tonight, thank God. And so it was great that they had center stage, because I sat there and I watched it and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thoroughly enjoyed the communication with Fernando Tatis. He was cool. And I'm like, we need more of this. This is what Screaming A was talking about. This is what I've been talking about for 20 years now. Because like I told you yesterday, I gave you the example. I ripped for the boxer. Now I'm forgetting the kid's name. The Puerto Rican, I think it was Puerto Rican. God, I told you yesterday. What's his name? Tito. Oh man, somebody help me out. Man, what's his name? Anyway, so that I told you about that boxer when he was at his peak. Guy didn't know a lick of English. You know, you're beating Oscar De La Hoya, all that. You're at the top of your game. You have an opportunity to grab hold of the United States and take over because you can do that, dude. You don't have to be an American to be loved in the United States. That doesn't that it helps, but if not, we will gravitate to people that actually are connecting and have personality and those kind of things. We will root for the good. Tito Trinidad, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are you're all amazing paying attention. I appreciate that immensely. Tito Trinidad, what didn't know a lick of English, kicking everybody's ass on top of the world. Couldn't market the guy in America. Couldn't market. You know how much money he would have made? He would have made a boatload of money at that time. But if you're not marketable, that's exactly what Screaming A was talking about. I know because I've been talking about it for a long time now. And that's, yesterday. I don't know about you, if you watched the game or not, but I had a lot of fun watching that game. I thought it was a great event. I thought it went really well. I thought it got to showcase some of these young guys that people probably don't watch a lot, don't know a lot about. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun, man. I really enjoyed watching that game yesterday as even though I was rooting for my National League. And congratulations to Trevor Rogers. I know it wasn't the most beautiful inning, but good for him making the All-Star game. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think something, by the way, I think somebody broke the ice here on the Venmo because I think I saw something came in. Angel chimes in. Okay, I see what it is. So what is this? What's this friend's request? I don't get it. I got a Venmo friend request. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. But anyway, I accepted it, Angel. Okay. I don't know what that means. See, these are things. This is all new to me, man. This Venmo stuff. This is all new to me. So I don't know if I was supposed to accept a friendship or whatever, but I did anyway. So there you go. I guess it wasn't somebody breaking the ice, but there you go. That's the way it goes. You accept so he can pay. Oh, that's how it is. I didn't know that's more of a pain in the ass than Cash App, actually. Are you guys sure that people want to use Venmo over Cash App? So you have to accept in order for them to donate. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. I did not know that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Angel. Appreciate you, man. Very nice. But anyway, so I thought it was a really good moment for baseball, and I hope that they're able to build on it. I doubt they will because they have screwed up this game in every way possible. But, what are you going to do? We do have a loaded show for you today. We got a bunch of talk. At noon, Mr. Michael Lee is going to join us from the Washington Post. We'll talk all things NBA with him. We'll get into the finals. We'll get into Russell Westbrook's future. We'll ask him what he thinks the Heat can possibly do in free agency. We'll ask him about, is there a whale out there that he thinks Miami could try to get? So we'll get with Michael Lee, the NBA insider for the Washington Post. At 12:30, our buddy Cameron Wolfe for ESPN NFL Nation covers the Fins. He's going to stop by at 12:30 so we can talk a couple of Dolphin issues and have some fun with him. So we got a couple of guests for you in hour number 2, and we'll have a little fun with that. NorCal says, happy birthday to Atlanta Dolphin Club president and my brother, Scott Howell. I couldn't plan fan club weekend without you, brother. Fins for life. There you go. Way to go, NorCal. Nice job by you. Matthew Walker says, Richard Sherman has been arrested for burglary, domestic violence. Really? Wow. Damn. Richard Sherman doesn't come off to me like that dude. He comes off to me like the guy that's a lot smarter than that. I hope this is like some kind of bogus type of charge or something on him, because he's been a good dude overall in his career, man. According to Schefter, free agent cornerback Richard Sherman was booked at 6:08 this morning at the Seattle Correctional Facility for burglary, domestic violence, per King County Public Records. Sherman was also denied bail. Okay. Wow. Bail denied. That's weird, dude. Wow. That's not what wow, that's not something that you would actually figure from a guy like Richard Sherman. That's, I mean, he something must have made him snap, right? Because that really has never been him. That's crazy, dude. And then some guy chimes in with the Seattle Correctional Facility has signed Sherman to a 5-year deal. Okay, that's I got to know more about that story, right? I mean, that one throws you off, dude. Richard Sherman? Damn. Okay. That's crazy. All right. I'm sure we'll find out more on what's going on with Richard Sherman. Let's see. Remember, many ways to reach out to us. Email bigradioshow@yahoo.com. The YouTube page, of course, right there. If you're watching, you can send in your comments and your questions. Twitter, Big O Show. We will check our Twitter. We always have our Twitter open. So if you have a question, even if you're listening to the podcast in the middle of the night or a day from now or whatever, anytime you're listening, if you like something I said or disagree with something I said, send me an email, drop me a DM, send me a tweet. Always appreciate the connection with all of you out there. So I appreciate it. Let's see what else. And then Cash App, Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. So appreciate it out there. Let me go through a little roll call, because it looks like it's loaded up right now, and maybe there's some questions and comments you guys want me to go through on the roll call. GP Trap, by the way, was number 1, and reminding everybody to smash the hell out of that like button, please. Smash that like button. Ian from Brooklyn is in. Raging Dolphin Maniac. Omar Lopez. Herman Cueva. Ray Grullon. Let's see. He likes the intro. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're growing every little day. We're growing. And we got our Ira promo in there, too, to promote him leading up to August. It's nice. He starts right on August, and August 2nd starts free agency in the NBA. Although there might be something else Ira could be a part of. You never know. Another Lousy Day in Paradise. Great Knack song. I got to listen to that. I have not heard that song by the Knack. Another Lousy Day in Paradise. I'll check it out. John Santos. Good morning, Big O. I'm one of your corporate time-stealing weasels playing hooky. Nice, John. I love it. You're getting paid to listen to the show. It's a beautiful thing. Big O, who is the voice that does the intro? He is a longtime radio guy in this town. I've known him for over 20 years. And so he, I got him. I don't know if I should say his name. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but I've known him for a long time, and he does a great job. And so he has become a fixture for our show also. Premier Reviewer says, you're doing a great job, Big O. Thank you, Premier Reviewer. It's all, some of this technical stuff is all kind of new to me. And I mean, I'm just used to like preparing for a show and getting interviews and getting insight and trying to find nuggets and all that kind of stuff. The technical stuff is not something that I usually left it to the producers to worry about. You know what I mean? But at the moment, I've got to adjust, and we're doing our best. We're trying, my brother. We are trying. And thank you for noticing. April 2008 through present, the Big O Show gets me through my workday. You have support 100%. Thank you, NorCal. I appreciate you. Steve Chapman is in. Willie Molina is also a corporate time-stealing weasel. Big Rig is in. Let's see. Eddie Lepp. John Rouse in the house. Ed Marti says, smash and dash catch you on the pod. Love that, Ed. So Ed chimes in so he can hit the like button, and then he catches the podcast later on. That's a beautiful thing, man. I don't mind a smash and dash. That's all good with that. Let's see. Matthew Walker, Premier says we definitely Omar Kelly to get a microphone as well as he needs help picking one up. I have a few in mind. Send them to me at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com, Premier. Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Send me them because we're going to get him a mic. Okay? Yes, love the mic up. I actually watched the whole game, right? Wasn't it fun, GP? It was fun, man. And Tatis was fun. If I'm sponsors, I want to get that guy involved, man. Raiders have the best logo in the NFL. You know, it's a great freaking logo. I can't argue with it. So if somebody likes the Raiders as the best logo, I'm not the guy to argue with that. You know, it's a great freaking logo. American and Nationals with the team logos on the sleeves. Exactly. That's all we need. I like the interaction between the managers too. Yes. I thought that's a great call by you, Herman. That was awesome when they're going back and forth. I thought that was cool. Jay Gelfin says, good morning, my brother. Still think Phoenix in 5. No, I got Phoenix in 6. But 5 or 6, either way, Lisa's happy. Really, that's all that matters, right? Our resident Suns fan is happy. Devin says, Big O, I think Stephen A. Smith gave a sincere apology, and I respect that. We all have to learn how to do better. Yeah, but he didn't need to give it, man. This is all this counterculture and ultra sensitive. Nobody was picking on Ohtani. He was never picking on Ohtani. He even went out of his way to say what a nasty player that guy is, that he's a freak of all freaks. I don't think Stephen A. had to apologize for anything. King Short is in. Danny is in. See, Pipeman Slim, Miguel Garcia, Don Parlamento, Chad Marcioni says, what's up? Matthew Walker. Okay, I got you there. NorCal. Happy. Okay, I got that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Tack Loves Art is in. Thank you, Tack Loves Art. To Extreme. Chris Ike says, good morning, Big O from Arizona. You will have a loyal fan base. Even though my mom isn't here with me and my siblings, we both found your show together, keeping the tradition alive. Wow. That is very good. That is cool. Get the family involved. I like it. Even got mom involved in our show. It's awesome. All biscuit, but the gravy, baby. That's what King says. Nothing beats the rock band intro that you had at QAM, the Killjoy producers next. Yeah, no, you're talking about my man Steve. Steven did an awesome job, and I'm trying to get him to redo it, you know. So we'll see if we have some luck. The Smash and Dash, laughing my ass out loud. We need a Big O Radio Show Smash and Dash t-shirt. We are creating t-shirts. We are creating some stuff that we will soon have. Ray says the next song is from the last album they did in the 80s called Round Trip. Very underrated. They experimented with a different sound. Okay. Willie Molina says, Big O, compartmentalize. That's the word of the week. Let's see. It's marketing multiple fan consumers, and they know it will sell. Yeah, there's no doubt, man. There's no doubt. So there you go. You got some of the roll call ladies and gentlemen that are involved in the mix. Thank you all out there, as always, for supporting the show in many different ways. Peyton Manning, by the way, had a weak first pitch, right? When he throws it, it goes down to the left side of the dirt. I'm like, well, his arm is still done. It was cooked at the end of his career that he can only throw for about 10 yards. And I'm thinking, well, that's 90 feet, you know, so that's kind of, it's tough for Manning to throw that far. You know what I'm saying? So when it went right into the dirt on the left side, I was like, yeah, that arm is absolutely toast at this point. Because, when you're doing this, you're under the stadium and you go practice and you throw a couple, right? I mean, if you're going to make me or give me the honor of throwing out the first pitch, I'm going to warm up behind the stadium, under the stadium, whatever, where the pitchers are normally, away from everybody, and I'm going to throw a couple just to kind of warm up and get the arm going so I can reach the catcher, you know what I mean? Respectfully. You know what I'm saying? George Bush to this day, Jr., still throughout out of all the celebrities, right? I think George Bush Jr. is the best pitch out of all the celebrities that I've seen. And George was older than Peyton Manning. I mean, Bush Jr., like, it was beautiful, bro. He did a nice job. It's like the best one. Now he owned the Rangers, so he was, he's a baseball guy. I don't know, maybe he was a bit of an athlete too in his time. But I got to give Bush Jr. some love. He's one of the few what's it called celebrities that actually threw out a first pitch that was pretty damn respectable, and one that like, hey, okay, I would. He didn't fold at that moment. He got it done. How about the dude landing on his head for the home run also yesterday? He was all right. That was good. But damn, bro, that's what people will do for free balls and T-shirts and all that kind of stuff is just absolutely nuts. Remember, you can reach out to us on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com if you want to reach out to us. Plenty of things to talk about today on the show. Let's see. All right. NorCal says, I love the QAM Big O show intro. It's like the original Dolphins logo. Big O, does your name appear on the Cash App ID too? I think it does. Look, Cash Big O show. It's just Cash Big O show, and I'll get it. As long as you have Cash Big O show, that's my address. So I'll get it. So you're good. Don't worry about it. But remember, again, I'm kind of a rookie with all this. I've never had Cash App or Venmo. I think I sent somebody money once on Venmo a couple of years ago because that's how the only way I could get it to them. And they told me, hey, download Venmo. And I think I did it one time. And that's about it. But yeah, just Cash Big O show, and you'll definitely find it there. Thank you all out there as always. Big O, let's see what else. I think X would be happy to be the 5th highest paid corner in the league. That puts him right in front of Byron. I mean, I don't, man. I'm not into giving him more money at this point. I think it's a bad move by the Miami Dolphins to give in to the player this way, because you're going to open up Pandora's box, and it's going to be an absolute disaster for the Dolphins, because then every player is going to say, well, if my contract gets outdated in a year or two, I can go back to getting a new one. Well, wait a minute. You did it for X. You can do it for me. And that's going to happen right away. Agents are going to, if the second you redo X's contract and extend him, which would be dumb also with all the knee injuries, I think the most that they could do is probably guarantee some money from within the contract. But even that, you have to be careful, man, because then all of a sudden now you open up a can of worms, and it's going to get ugly for the Dolphins. And every agent is going to mark that down. Okay, if my players with the Dolphins, they did this for X, they could do it for my guy if his contract is outdated in a year or two. And you just can't do that. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, to be honest with you. So we'll see. Let's see. Hey, will you be at any of the Dolphins open training camps, Tommy and Hialeah? Yeah, yes, I'm going to go to a weekend one is what I'm going to go to. I won't be able to go to the weekday because I'm on at 11 a.m. Actually, we might be going on a little earlier. We might be going on at 10 soon. We're going to, eventually we're going to expand the show because we're going to have more guests. We're going to have more content that we're adding to the show. So we're going to need more time here to kind of get everything out there. So, yeah, I will go, but it'll be on a weekend because weekdays I'm still grinding doing this. Now, maybe, I don't know, I haven't even reached out, but maybe the Dolphins will allow us to do the show out there. I don't know. Maybe we can do something like that. But I appreciate it. Who gave O a thumbs down? That's fine, man. It's all good, Nico, man. It's all right if they gave me a thumbs down. It's, everybody, we're all not going to agree, man. This is sports. It's the way it is. Or maybe, not everybody likes you. So maybe somebody chimed in, just to spread the hate a little bit there. That's all. It's all good, man. You can't get bent out of shape about that. One thing you learn about in this business, well, some of us learn right away, you're not going to make everybody happy. Okay? It's impossible. And those that try to make everybody happy, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Be yourself and and try to connect with people, and some will like you, some will not, some will agree, some won't. And that's life, man. That's the way it goes. I'll be at the new camp on Saturday, August 7th. Let's get together, peeps. Go Fins. I like it. I like it. Don Parlamento thinks it's Joe Rose doing first of all, Joe couldn't open up YouTube. He couldn't find YouTube, much less find our show. That's probably the most untechnical guy that there is on the planet. He's never even seen his Twitter account. Okay. The producers run his Twitter account. He's never done anything on Twitter. Maybe the producers will film something and then post it for him. But yeah, I don't even know if Joe knows how to use an email. Okay. Put it that way. It's, so we got nothing but love for Joe, but I'm pretty sure he's not the guy doing the thumbs down, because there's no way he could find this show at all. He doesn't even know what YouTube is. He's heard of it, but I doubt he's actually even used it. Willie says cultural resistance sometimes lurks, Big O. It's all good, man. It's all good. I can't complain. We got game 4 tonight as the Suns and the Bucks take the stage. And I like the fact that it wasn't last night in a way, because it allowed me to enjoy the All-Star game and not think about anything else at that moment. And tonight, the All-Star, the NBA Finals gets their stage all to themselves, which is cool, which again, we get to kind of relax. No Marlins. We don't have Marlins till Friday. So again, that's another thing too. We kind of get to, some of us that follow the Marlins still. I know some of you out there could care less about the Marlins, but I do watch them also. But tonight, the question I have, and I brought it up yesterday, Booker needs to be the guy. He needs to kind of explode. And I mentioned how he had not shot well in 2 of the 3 games, and yet the Suns are leading 2-1. And I know CP3 is going to come out with fire. That Giannis is going to play his ass off, because that's the only way he knows how to play. And the guy that has got to come up with one hell of a night is Booker. And I mentioned it to you guys, what was it? 2 days ago. It was on Monday, that in game 1, he was 8 of 21, 1 of 8 from 3-point range. 27 points sounds like impressive, but on 21 shots, it's not really efficient. And 8 of 21 is not great. And 1 of 8 from 3-point range is absolutely terrible. Game 2, he shot well. He shot 12 of 25, almost 50%, 7 of 12 from 3-point range. But then in the last game, where he ends up with 10 points, 3 of 14, 1 of 7 from 3-point range. 2 out of the 3 games, he combined for 2 of 15 from 3-point range. So which Booker are we going to get tonight? If we get game 2 Booker, then they've got a great chance of taking a 3-1 lead. And if you're the Phoenix Suns, tonight is imperative that you go out there and win this game. The series is not over if you lose it or anything like that, but it's about confidence. It's about deflating the confidence of your opponent and raising the confidence of your team. The Bucks, we all know they're in desperation mode. Like I told you, they had to win game 3. They had to play their asses off. They had to leave it all out there and make sure they walked away with a W, because if not, series over. 3-0, series over. So the Suns now have a great opportunity to kind of tell the Bucks, yeah, you got that game, but no, we're back and we're going to take control. We're the better team, and we're going to put you in a position that's impossible. And it's all up to Booker. It really is. Booker has to come out super aggressive tonight. He has to come out wanting to light these dudes up. And he has to be that guy that's unconscious from three-point range. And he could get that way because he's that kind of scorer. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is the storyline of tonight's game. I know CP3 is going to sell out because he's been at this for, 16, 17 years or whatever. This is probably the only time he's ever going to be this close to a title. And the one thing that CP3 has left to accomplish in his career is that. He's done, dude. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. He doesn't need to prove a damn thing anymore to anybody. But the one thing that he needs to kind of finish out his career and say, okay, now my career is complete, dude. All right, I kicked ass. I made it to the Hall of Fame. I made a boatload of money off the court with Allstate and all that other stuff I do, and I got me my title. And that title goes so far because that title will buy you more sponsorships after you're done with your playing career. Because when you are a champion, you will have people. That's why guys like Joe Montana can still do commercials, and Dwayne Wade will be doing commercials for the next 20 years. Because once you have that title, you are worth that much more to sponsors. And because Paul has done a fabulous job with his off the court, persona or characters or whatever you want to call it, other sponsors are going to go, okay, this guy's, we can work with him. He's created characters for Allstate and all that kind of stuff. And then the rest is history. It is Allstate, right? Or State Farm? I forgot. I think it's Allstate, right? Anyway, whatever. But he's done an awesome job. He's got to win. Got to win tonight. If you're the Suns, if you allow Milwaukee to win, it's not that it's over, but now you've given them the confidence that they need. They've gotten their 2 wins back. They're comfortable now, and now they go back to Phoenix with confidence to try to steal one there in Phoenix. If you win tonight and you're Phoenix, then Milwaukee goes deflated to Phoenix because it's not just one, it's only human nature. You're thinking in the back of your head, I got to win 3 straight. These guys are up 3-1 on us, and somehow or another, we got to win 3 straight against them. That's what you want them thinking. Because this bullshit that they tell you, well, one game at a time, dude, when you're down 3-1, that one game at a time, the coach can preach it. You could talk about it in practice. Players can hear all that. But in the back of their mind, they're going, damn, dude, we got to win 3. They're not thinking about 1. They're thinking 3 because that's human nature. You're in a hole. You're in a monster deficit. Okay? When you owe $25,000 to the bank, you're not just thinking about the $100 payment you got to make at the end of the month. You're thinking, damn it, dude, I owe him $24,900 more. That's what you're thinking. Okay? That's what goes on in your mind is the total that you owe. Not, you don't feel any better because you made that one payment. You're thinking about the next 100 payments you still got to give them. Okay? That's what goes on. That's human nature. And that's why for the Suns tonight, I'm telling you, if you want to take control of this series and you want to guarantee yourself of winning this, got to win tonight. You don't win tonight, you open it all up for Milwaukee to take advantage of the situation. Don't forget, you can reach out to us at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. That's Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Thank you out there. I guess we continue to get more and more friends, I guess. I think yep, we got Don. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you reaching out. I guess that's how this thing is done. Okay. This is interesting. Interesting. Okay. Thank you all out there for continuing to work it. And of course, remember, you can support the show many ways. Our sponsors, our fabulous sponsors. We also have either Cash App or Venmo. It's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. If you want to reach out to us, appreciate it. It is State Farm. Thank you. Okay, so it's State Farm, not Allstate. I always get those two confused. Do you guys get those two confused? Right? I almost look at them like the same companies. I know they're not, but I just kind of confuse them like they're both, because you always look at them like the elite companies in that kind of business, Just seems like it. I always get those two mixed up. So State Farm, thank you. I think there's more pressure on the Bucks to win tonight. They don't. They go down 3. Yeah, no, all the pressure's on the Bucks, but that's why you want to keep that pressure on the Bucks, and that's why they're going to play a little looser, because they're going to be desperate. They're going to have to take chances. They're going to have to be super aggressive. But if you're Phoenix, you've got to play with the same kind of aggression and desperation. You can't play comfortable because you're leading 2-1, and worst case scenario, we lose and we're 2-2, but we still have 2 of 3 in Phoenix. You can't assume that. You cannot do that. You're not that kind of team if you're Phoenix. You're not a proven and a normal playoff participant with all kinds of experience, deep runs and finals and all that. That's not who you are. So you can't carry yourself that way. This is your first time. This could be your Marino moment. Okay? You know what I mean by that, right? Marino thought he was going to go a whole bunch of times, and he went one time to the Super Bowl. And that was his one chance to win that title and get that trophy and get that ring and complete his career. And he thought, hell, I'll be back. I got Shula. I got a great team. I'm a badass. I light up the NFL. I'll be back. Never made it back. And if you're the Phoenix Suns, this might be your only time. I know Lisa right now is saying, don't say that. But you just never know. You just don't know. And so you got to take advantage of every single moment. Every single moment. Let's see. What else do we have here? Chris Paul is on the State Farm commercial. Yes, thank you. I'm back. Had to chase a bird out of my house. Let's see. Isai says Booker has been around longer than Hero. Really can't compare the two. Booker put up 70 points. We knew that he was serious. I didn't. Maybe that's a conversation there, but I would never put Tyler Hero in Booker's class. Not even that's an insult to Devin Booker. Okay, Devin Booker's paid his dues. He came in as a young guy, learned, and has learned how to be an all-star type player. And now he's taking the next step to becoming a superstar player. And that's why I'm saying that tonight is one of those superstar moments that if you are a superstar, here's where you got to say, no, dude, I'm putting the foot on the throat. Okay, I'm laying the hammer down, and whatever cliche you want to do, that's what it's all about right now. So Booker has got to impose his will if he's a superstar. But let's not insult Devin Booker by comparing him in any conversation to Tyler Hero. Okay? Willie says, Big O, your Tejas rock. I don't know about that, bro, but I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. We have a little bit of hair left. Although I am developing the human yarmulke a little bit there. Maybe I got to go to a hair doctor and fill the patch. Because I'm developing a patch right here. So I have I'm developing the human yarmulke. So that's the only sad part about it. But hey, man, I'm in my mid-50s, so I got to be grateful that my hair lasted this long as it is. You know what I'm saying? We always have to be grateful. We do, man. We have to be so grateful in this country for everything that's going on. We can all get vaccinated. A lot of us, most of us are vaccinated. You look what's going on around the world right now. Look what's going on with the Olympics, because they didn't have the resources, because they probably showed some ignorance. They have the virus going all over the place, and they're limiting themselves, and they can't do anything. Meanwhile, we're all getting back to normal again because most of us are vaccinated. And because most of us are vaccinated, we're allowing us to get back to normal again. All these other countries that don't have the resources to vaccinate, or they've been ignorant about the virus, look what's going on. I mean, it's not like you can't get it, but at least you won't die and you won't be hospitalized. We have to be grateful, incredibly grateful on what goes on in our country compared to what goes on in other parts of the world. We have our problems, there's no doubt, but we do have to be grateful for a lot of things. We will all make you an honorary member of the tribe. Thank you. Thank you. I don't have to buy a yarmulke. I've got it natural. So all I've got to do is now learn the religion and get in, and that's it, and have some fun. That's all. Although I will say this, I'm already married, so I'm already screwed. I can't do it anymore. But Jewish weddings are the best. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a Jewish wedding. I've been to 2 of them. They have a lot of fun, man. Those are overall, those are the most fun weddings I've been to. That's a blast, bro. They do have a really good time in Jewish weddings. I don't know about is it Hasidic, like the hardcore? I don't know about that one. Okay, I didn't go to one that's like super hardcore, but just, I had a blast. I'm sure maybe the more hardcore, maybe it's a little bit more serious and all that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But the ones I went to, man, party, food was awesome. It's a fun time. Fun time. I always wonder, has anybody ever dropped them when they like raise them up in the chairs? Because that way, I mean, the 2 I went, no problem. But I'm just wondering, that ever happens? Any of my Jewish friends out there, you ever go to a Jewish wedding where they Sammy Smith the bride or the groom off the chair? I'm just wondering, because that's I always the 2 that I went to, and when they raised them up, I was like, okay, that's fun, it's a blast. Don't drop them, please. I'm just wondering if that's ever happened. That's got to be on film, right? I bet if I YouTube it, it's got to be somewhere. Hasidic weddings are much more conservative and more low-key than us Reformed Jews. Okay, I figured that because obviously they're very, strict. So I figured it wouldn't be nearly as fun. But the Jews have the best weddings. They at least my experiences. Okay, guaranteed. Let's see. Don Parlamento says, stick it in, vaccinate. Big O on the 22nd, my second dose. Nice, Willie. There you go, bro. There you go. And you'll be fine. And then a couple weeks after that, you're sealed for the deal. Make sure after you get that second, Willie, make sure you're keeping your distance right now and try to really stay on top of everything. Get your second one and then stay on top of it again for a couple of weeks. And then that way you're fully vaccinated and you're fully covered and you're set to go. That's incredibly important because you don't want to catch it in between shots or anything like that, because then that creates a little bit of an issue for you overall. Anyway, so a lot of stuff to talk about. All right, we are going to take a quick break. Mr. Michael Lee is going to join us on the other side. We're going to have some fun with Michael. We're going to talk some Heat basketball with Michael because I want to ask him. I want to ask Michael what are the options for the Miami Heat at this point in time? Because what kind of whale may become available? Because we all know that Riley's going to be searching for a whale. And so in order to get that whale, he's going to have to steal it from somebody out there. You know what I'm saying? And so is he going to be able to trade for that whale? So we're going to ask Mr. Michael Lee here at the top of the hour from the Washington Post if there's that option. We will talk a little NBA Finals with him also, which we love. It's a beautiful thing. And what else do I want to talk to him about? There was something else I wanted to. Oh, yes, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard obviously just had knee surgery, had a partially torn ACL. Will he opt out? What are his options? Will he leave? I personally don't think he's leaving at all. I think he's staying in LA. I think it's the silliest thing in the world. People talking about him going somewhere else or even coming here to the Miami Heat. But, hey, man, Michael Lee is as well-connected in the NBA as anybody else out there. So we're going to have the NBA insider join us on the other side. Again, you want to reach out to us. Many ways to reach out to us, folks. You can reach out to us on email, Big O Radio Show. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. As always, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Michael Lee from the Washington Post.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Thing. Hour number 2, we promised you that Mr. Michael Lee would be kind enough to join us now to talk a little NBA as we get ready for the NBA Finals Game 4 action. Remember, you could follow him on Twitter like I and many others do, Mr. Michael Lee, and catch his exceptional work there at the Washington Post. Michael, this is a new way that you and I have done interviews. We've been doing interviews for several years, serious, local, all this stuff, but I tripped you out when I sent you a video link today.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on, and I didn't think I was dressed appropriately, but I see you in a T-shirt, so I'm okay.
Oh, yeah, you're good. It's casual, baby. Come on, man. We're just here to talk some sports and connect with people. And, you know, Michael, today or tonight, I almost feel like I can't wait to see what Devin Booker we get, because, you know, I've been talking about this the last couple of days. He has not been great in 2 of the 3 games yet, right? And we all know that this has been kind of the stamp he's put in the league that, hey, I'm an up and coming superstar. Here I am. And I almost feel like tonight with a 2-1 lead, this is where the superstars raise their level of play and say, okay, no, dude, I'm putting my foot down here. We're going to be the guys. We're going to take the title. We want to put Milwaukee in a position that they feel it's impossible. I almost feel like Booker has to come up with a really nasty performance tonight. Do you agree?
I'm not putting the pressure on him for tonight. I think Game 5 will be the game that if he doesn't do it tonight, that he'll have the opportunity to do that. He definitely has not been shooting the ball the way he's accustomed. I think he learned from the Clippers series that if you can get really physical with him, get him out of the positions that he likes to be in, make him uncomfortable, then you'll have a chance to really make him ineffective. Now, what he did in Game 3 was inexplicable. I didn't think he would play that poorly, but he did. I think that, you know, reason why I don't want to say it's got to be Game 4 is because they're in Milwaukee. And there is another guy on the other side of the court who has some say in how this series is going to be determined. And I have a lot of confidence in him as well. I think Devin Booker they need to find a way to free him up a little bit more. He's got to find a way to attack the basket. He's got to find a way to get to the free throw line and get comfortable, shooting the ball, because you can't just go out there thinking you're going to hit turnaround fadeaways and beat the Bucks this way. You're falling into their trap. But if you can attack the rim, you get some easy baskets, get some layups, and then also get some free throws. Then you start getting your confidence back, and you open up the floor for everybody else out there. And that's when I think the Suns can really knock out the Bucks. But again, I have a lot of respect for the opponent on the other side.
And I would imagine that the guy that is probably at the moment the guy that we're all in a way, because if we don't have a horse in the race, which I don't because I'm a Heat fan, but I do want to see Chris Paul win a championship because he's paid his dues, man. He's been a great player for a long, long time. I would imagine that dude is going to come out with some serious fire today because he knows his team needs to go up 3-1 to kind of really put themselves in that driver's seat.
Yeah, but again, I think that he's facing Drew Holiday, and if you look at what's happened in the last two games since they made the switch and put Drew on him, he went. I think he had 2 turnovers in game 1. He's had 10 in the last 2 games, so that's 5 a game. Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive players in the league. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of defensive player of the year honors because we always feel like you have to be a big man who rebounds and blocks shots to be defensive player of the year. But if you can shut down the opposing team's best perimeter player and do it consistently, you need to get consideration. I think Drew Holiday is in that class of being an elite defender. You saw what he did against Trae Young in the conference finals, and you can sort of see what he's done throughout this entire playoff run. You have a good score on the other side, sick Drew on him and see what happens. And I think that's what's happened with Chris Paul. He sort of disrupted what he does. He's made him a little fidgety with the ball. He's made him a little bit rushed. And it made him very uncomfortable. And I think that, so Chris can try to say I'll do whatever, but I think the main thing he has to do is just lead. He's got to find a way to get DeAndre Ayton open. He's got to find a way to get Michael Bridges going. He got to get good looks for Jay Crowder. So I think if he does things within the Florida offense and, plays the way Chris Paul can play, but also hold on to the ball, I think that they have a good chance. And I think with Chris Paul, it's not necessarily about getting 30 points or 40 points. It's about making sure that they don't have a lot of turnovers. And if he can do that, and if he can find a way to counter Drew Holiday, they definitely have a chance. But I think the type of Chris Paul game that you need is not going to be some superhero bionic game. It's going to be one where he's just steady and in control.
When you look at Giannis, what do the Suns have to do to try to slow him down? Because I know it's almost impossible to slow that dude down because he's such an athletic freak. But he got comfortable in the last game at the line, 13 of 17, because obviously it was getting to him over in Phoenix with the fans counting and all of that. But we all know everybody's different at home. Role players play better at home, all those cliches. So what do the Suns have to do to at least try to disrupt what Giannis is doing? I know you can't stop him, but maybe you can try to, I don't know, alter it a little bit if you can.
Build that wall, the wall that Miami built against them last year, the wall that Toronto built against them 2 years ago. But just try to throw bodies at them. Don't just let him be out there on an island with Jay Crowder or anybody else. Don't let him just work in isolation and just dominate, overpowering guys. Force the other guys to beat you. Chris Middleton hasn't played that well so far. Make him have a monster game. Make Drew Holiday continue to score at a high clip. Make Pat Connaughton and all his other guys step up and perform. Just get the ball out of his hands, trap him, create a wall, and just don't let Giannis just get comfortable. I mean, he's going to find a way to break through and power through no matter what because he's just that relentless. But I think the key for the Suns is just making sure that he sees multiple bodies, that he sees multiple looks, and that he's not able to just get the ball close to the basket and just dunk on them or do turnaround, layups and just things like that, right at the rim. Keep him away from the rim and make him a jump shooter. Foul him if you need to, and make him think about it when he gets to the free throw line.
Michael Lee, of course, NBA insider for the Washington Post, joining us right here. All right, Michael, in your backyard, the Wizards obviously had a pretty good year, but the talk is what is going to happen with Russell Westbrook. Walk us through that. Does he stay or is he gone? Is he traded? Does he move on? What happens?
Well, I would have a hard time finding a team that's willing to trade for him right now. As great as he is and just what he has to offer, I'm not sure if what you get in return is going to be as rewarding as what he's going to offer you. I think that, they made an investment this year. They were going to make it to the playoffs no matter what. And that meant that they were going to kind of, forfeit their future in some ways. I think it was a good year that they made it to the playoffs, but a bad year in that they really needed a lottery pick. They really need to upgrade their talent and really get a stable of young pieces so they can move forward. I think that, a lot of pressure's put on backcourt, with Russell and Bradley Beal. But I think that, if you really want to be an elite team and you really want to be a team that's competing for titles, you got to have somebody who's big in the middle who can get some things done. And you also got to find, just an elite wing. Those are the things that separate the really good teams from the really great teams. And there are a lot of great options in this draft. So I thought they blew an opportunity by just trying to get into the postseason when they really need to upgrade their talent. That being said, I don't know which teams are going to try to get Russell. If they do, I'm sure that, that what the Wizards get back in return won't match what they would give up.
So it looks like for you, he stays there. Is what you kind of get the feeling that that's what it is. He there won't be that many options for him to go elsewhere. In other words,
I don't see there being a huge market for Russell Westbrook. I don't think there's going to be a lot of suitors. Like I said, and if there is a team that's desperate enough to really say we got to go get him, I'm not sure if what you get in return will be quality return. And I think that if you have a guy like Bradley Beal in place and you really want to commit to him long term, you want him to be your franchise player going forward. You got to make sure that you assemble a roster that's going to be able to compete and be in the playoffs. Otherwise, he'll be looking at other options himself when he becomes a free agent.
Bradley Beal, I guess, has that ship sailed already? All the talk about him getting traded and all of that kind of stuff, and whether he wanted out or not, it just seems like he's been happy there. It seems like he's been satisfied with his contract and his situation. People wrote about it, but it never really materialized like he was ever going to leave. And I know, we have our Heat zombies down here that think that they can acquire everybody in the NBA, and they don't live in reality sometimes.
Yeah.
And so walk me through what's going on with Bradley Beal now.
Well, the thing about Bradley Beal that I don't know if it's discussed enough is that, he's got to stick around if he wants to sign that mega max, right? That super loyal mega max after you stay with a team for 10 years. And I think he's eligible for a 5-year, $266 million contract if he stays. So that money cannot be earned anywhere else. That money can only be earned if he stays with his team. And so I think that there's a lot of value in him sticking with the Wizards and riding it out and see how far it goes, because that's generational wealth there. Now he's rich as he is right now, but that kind of money is so big, it's so massive, and he's the type of guy who doesn't want to walk away from that. And I think that that's something that's overlooked here too, is that he would be sacrificing a whole lot just by leaving in pursuit of a ring. I think that if he can get $266 million, even if he doesn't win a championship, he can buy a whole lot of jewelry.
Yeah. No, I'm with, and he's a level-headed kid too. That's the other thing.
He's very grounded. He's very loyal, and he comes from a really stable family. He's all about his family and his he got 4 brothers. So he's all about and his 2 parents so he's all about just making sure that everybody's comfortable, and so he's a very loyal guy. So, and he also has an opportunity in Washington that few players get the chance to do. And I think it's more admirable than anything. We spend so much time, putting these players on the clock and saying, well, after 7 years, if you haven't won a championship, then you need to leave, or you got to go somewhere and get a ring. And we get so caught up in just realizing that the impact that you can have on the community goes far beyond just winning a championship or winning a ring. If you can connect with the people in the city, you can connect with the community and leave a lasting legacy that will go on for years. I think that's really important. I think it's kind of weird for me because I look at a guy like Ray Allen. He has 2 championship rings, right? And he's a great player, but he also has bounced around so much.
Mercenary.
His number won't be retired anywhere,
Right.
and it should be. Right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo wears number 34 in Milwaukee. I think anybody that saw Ray Allen in Milwaukee knows how great he was. Seattle Supersonics no longer exists. And then he goes to Boston. That number 20 has already been passed on to like 3 different players since he's left, and he played just a short time in Miami. But I think that Ray Allen's just, like in a situation like that where guys just kind of have to move around, it's difficult. But if you can stay in one spot and have some success, you can become a local hero, and there's value in that. There's value in that. It comes from just collecting a ring, and I kind of respect and admire Brad for being in that position that this is what he wants.
Well, right now, I mean, we have Marino, and he never won a title, and he stayed in Miami the entire time, and he's been, an icon here.
Yeah,
Dominique Wilkins,
imagine if he had gone
Dominique
and won.
Wilkins, Dominique Wilkins will always be Dominique Wilkins in Atlanta, dude. He's always going to be the man. You know what I mean? Because
Reggie Miller.
he left a lasting legacy there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
Imagine if Dan Marino had left and gone to the Vikings, and won a ring with the Vikings. Would you think that Minnesota is going to have name streets after him or do anything and to honor him? No, it'd be great.
I don't know. After all those failed Super Bowls, maybe they would do a little something.
Maybe they would. Maybe they would. I take it back. I'm sure Tom Brady will get his due in Tampa. So I take that back.
Hell, Pat Riley honors you even if you don't play for the damn team. So
that's true. But Bam Adebayo's got that 13 now. So
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let me ask you. Let's segue into the Miami Heat. The NBA offseason, as you know, it's must-see TV. It's one of the most drama-filled times in all of sports, not just the NBA. NBA free agency is awesome. Are we going to see a lot of movement? And we don't hear about a lot of big names that are going to be available. So what whale is out there that the Heat could try to get? As you know, Michael, Riley's made a living of finding the frustrated star, from Tim Hardaway to Alonzo Mourning to Shaquille O'Neal to, you name it. He has found that frustrated star and then given them a home here in Miami. Is a guy available? Is a frustrated star available? We know Bradley Beal's not one of those frustrated stars. So is there something out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think that Ben Simmons is on the trade market, but I don't know exactly his fit in Miami. Damian Lillard obviously is going to be a name that's going to be mentioned a lot in trades, but I don't know if the Heat has anything that could appeal to
They have no ammo. They have no ammo, right?
Yeah, and if it comes to free agency, I think that the biggest blow to the offseason was Kawhi Leonard's knee injury. I mean, the fact that he has a torn ACL, that really hurts. I think that he's a player that obviously Riles probably felt like if he get him in a room, he probably could have convinced him to come down there and play with Jimmy Butler. But now that he's probably going to miss, at the very least, most of next season, that's tough. It's tough. And coming at 30 years old, it's tough to sort of expect him to come back and just play at a high level, coming off an ACL, considering how he plays and just what it gives you on both ends of the floor. The fact that there isn't like a big name out there in free agency, you gotta say maybe they go after a guy like Kyle Lowry, to sort of run the point guard position, and then you add that piece that helps take the pressure off Jimmy Butler, and then you just kind of hope that a guy like Tyler Hero, is embarrassed enough from his sophomore season and comes back and works his tail off and starts becoming the player that you thought he was going to be this year. And sometimes I think that happens. You have a lot of a big spark when you first enter the league. Then you get humbled. Then you realize how hard this is. Then you come back and you're better. So maybe that's what happens. Maybe some of their young pieces that they've been drafting and developing start becoming what you hope they become. Because I don't see a savior out there in free agency or necessarily in the trade market right now. So you just got to hope you get patient and hope that your guys develop and that you have another Bam Adebayo on your roster who just is a homegrown stud.
The other part of the Heat that I want to ask you, because I'm against it. I think it would be a desperate move for Miami. I think you got to live out this contract. Is the talk of extending Jimmy Butler, and if I'm Miami, I want to just finish these 2 years and then stay liquid. They failed when they did the Whiteside, Johnson deals, and they tied their money to those 4 guys, and it put them in a rock and a hard place. How do you feel about the Jimmy Butler move? I know he's been fantastic for Miami, but you can see that the body is wearing down and it's breaking down. I don't know if I would want to extend him 2 more years and give him all that money. What would you do if you're Miami in the front office?
Yeah, I would play it out and sort of hope that, he maintains a positive attitude in his time with the organization. Because again, he is older. He's over 30 and he's not going to get younger. And, he gave you a great push to the NBA finals and continues to, whenever he is on the floor, your team is definitely elevated. But I don't know. It's tough for me because I've always been afraid of, when a guy crosses over 30 or, and you're like, okay, we know that your best basketball is probably behind you,
Right. Yeah.
And so
Unless you're LeBron, unless you're a cyborg like LeBron is, that's it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we get spoiled in thinking that, because LeBron has been so effective at, into his mid-30s, that everybody's that way. But he's an aberration. He's one of one, and there aren't many players that are going to continue to keep getting better as they get older. Most guys are going to hit a decline, and sometimes it happens a lot quicker than others. And when you make those kind of investments in older players, the minute it crumbles, you're stuck, and you're in a really tough position. And I think that, Miami has to be cognizant of that. They have to be aware that, as great as Jimmy's been in Miami, he also played for Tibbs for a lot of years. And those Tibb years add up a lot faster than the other years on other guys. So
you just can't count the minutes he played. You got to remember there's practice court too, where he used up his body also for Tibbs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did. And so I think that, what you want to do, though, is, like I said, try to find some answers, maybe, add a Kyle Lowry, find some other guys that can help him age gracefully, help him age in a way that you don't lean on him so much to carry you, do all the heavy lifting. And you got to also hope that some of your young guys that you have expectations for can step up and elevate their game. Because, again, you want to make sure at this point, this stage in his career, that you have Jimmy ready for the playoffs and you have him ready to perform when he can step up and give you some big performances.
All right, so this is kind of a question / confirmation from you, basically, because I kind of know the answer because I found this so silly, and I get it. There's 24-hour news cycles, so we've got to fill up crap. But I've never believed that Kawhi Leonard was ever going to leave. I mean, you've worked your ass off to get out of San Antonio, to go, then they ship you to Toronto. You make the best of it. You win a title. You control your destiny finally to get back to your hometown. The thought of him leaving, I just thought never made any sense whatsoever. And whether he opts out or not because of the knee injury, what's his future? His future is LA, right? He's not going to, because, we have our Miami people that think, again, our Miami, I call them heat zombies. They just think everybody's going to come here. And lately, that hasn't been the case. If you look at it over the last few years, talk to me about what your gut tells you about what Kawhi Leonard is going to do.
I don't listen to my gut when it comes to Kawhi because if you look at his moves, they don't really make a lot of sense to me. Okay, because thinking about him being with the San Antonio Spurs, the most stable organization in the league, the one that has invested in making sure it protects its players better than any team that we've seen, that allowed Tim Duncan play till he was 38 at a high level and make all NBA until he became
all of them, Ginobili and Parker, all of them.
All these guys have long careers and they have a great medical staff. Kawhi was like, man, I'm tired of all this winning. Get me out of here. I can't be with an organization that's all about winning and protecting my health. Something's up. So he left the most stable organization in sports and then went to Toronto and won a championship. Was like, thanks, guys. I'm out. Like he didn't want to stick around. I think if he stuck around, they win last year in a bubble. They go back to back. And
by the way, another great franchise.
Yes,
another great franchise. Great leadership, great coaching,
everything.
Players.
Like,
they were only missing him.
He's like, get me out of here. I can't. All I can do is win here. This isn't enough. So actually, now I think about it, he probably will stay with the Clippers because he hasn't won there. So,
you know what I also thought about? You know what's the screwed up part about all of this, Michael, is we found out that he's really not a leader. He's a player. He's the man. We all know that on the court, he's going to play the ultimate basketball game, and we know that. But he's not the guy that's going to pump other people up. He's not going to get in people's faces and rattle their cage. He's not going to give you the rah-rah speech. That's not who he is. He just brings the lunch pail, the superstar lunch pail, and gets it done. The funny part is he was on two organizations that provided the leadership, provided the culture, where he didn't have to be that guy because Kyle Lowry's there. He didn't have to be that guy because Tim Duncan was there or any of the other guys. It's weird. He was in organizations that already had that one characteristic that he doesn't have. He doesn't bring to the table. And now he goes to an organization that nobody really brings that to the table right now, except maybe your head coach, because of the experience. But the players aren't looked at that way. Nobody looks at Paul George that way. So it's really weird that he left two franchises where he didn't have to do that extra thing that they need in the Clippers. How weird is that?
There's 2 points I want to make. One, I think that sometimes we misinterpret what leadership is, right? And we sort of think that you have to be the sort of rah-rah guy that inspires your teammates. And I think that he is a great leader because of just what he did. I mean, he instilled confidence in that Raptors group. And he went out there and he played his tail off every night, and they played hard with him because they knew that they had the best player on the court. And I think that's leadership within itself. And I think that's something that can't be overlooked when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. I think a lot of times people say, well, he's not a leader because he doesn't speak up and he doesn't really do all this rah-rah stuff. But he has a way of communicating with his teammates. He has a way of getting through to them that they respond to. And I think that if he doesn't get hurt this year, if Donovan Mitchell makes that floater and they take the ball out and he dribbles the ball up slowly, he's not getting bumped and he's not tearing his ACL. They finish off the Jazz, and they're probably playing for a championship right now. They're probably the favorite to win the title if he's healthy. So I think that sometimes we get caught up in like what we think a leader is supposed to be and what he's supposed to sound like and look like. And we say, well, he's not one because he's quiet or because he's reserved or because he's sort of introverted. But I think that, leadership comes in different forms. And I would say that he actually is a leader because if you look at every organization that he's been with and he's been playing with, they had success, and they've had success because he's been around. And I think that if you look at the Spurs, even though they had Ginobili and Parker and Duncan, all those guys, they had a long drought where they weren't a relevant championship franchise. He came there, and within 2 years, they made it to the finals, and about 3 years, they won a championship. So I think that when we talk about leadership, we talk about just what a guy brings to the table. I can't overlook, what Kawhi does and what he offers.
Follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. Mr. Michael Lee. Catch his work there at the Washington Post. He does an exceptional job of covering the NBA on a daily basis. Michael, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. We really appreciate it. Excellent conversation.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on. And now I know that this is a different setup. So I have
the listeners on the text tell me that they want me to trick you next time and have you come in on a suit and tell you, yeah, it's kind of formal, so that way you're in a suit and we're in a t-shirt.
Well, no, next time I'll just make sure I iron my shirt. So
there you go.
I wasn't ready, but thanks for having me.
Much love, Michael. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. You got it. Michael Lee, man, good stuff there, Mr. Michael Lee. On Twitter. Always excellent interview with him. Always love having a basketball conversation with him. It's a lot of fun, man. Let's see. Travis is asking me, hey, Big O, what happened to Dono? Dono's fine, dude. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Listen, onside went down. I can't do anything about that. I have no control over that. I didn't make the call. I was busting my ass to make it happen. I can't do anything about that. I know Dono's going to restart doing some kind of a show, I think, with Ethan. But at the moment, I just can only worry about the Big O show at the moment because I don't have the right partners to put together an entire station, and I met with a couple people that actually have money. And it was funny when I looked at them in the face and I said, guys, this takes a lot more than just money, because it's just, money's doesn't solve everything. There are resources you need and you have to be able to provide. And unfortunately, I have not been able to find the right person to put the resources together to put a real sports station in this town, because we don't have one right now, but I would love to build it. So if you happen to know somebody that may have the same kind of passion I do, then we will get it done. But outside of that, I know that he does his soccer show. I know you can find him on Twitter at Alex Dono. So please reach out to him and support him. Dono's great people. Listen, man, I feel for Dono. I feel for Kai Chen Chisholm. I feel for Toast. I feel for Austin Robillard and David Dwork and Sean Stanley and I mean, we just had an incredible group of human beings, putting all this stuff together. And we just need the right people next to us who kind of help us. And we could have created something really, really special. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, man. And trust me, nobody is more disappointed and frustrated with it than I am. Okay? Nobody's more disappointed than I am in all of this. Eric says, EJD in the house. Just had our 17th year anniversary. Congratulations. Way to go, Eric. And again, folks, Eric's right there on the chat board. Big time sponsor of our program, of our shows. Please visit our sponsors. If you need some help in your home, you need a remodel, you need an addition, you need to create the man cave, you want to redo the front yard, the backyard, whatever it is, man, EJD Construction. So go to ejdconstruction.com and make sure you tell them that we sent you. Okay. Very important. You support our incredible sponsors who not only sponsor us, but even watch the show, listen to the show, all of those kind of things, man. I mean, that's, he's one of us. It's a beautiful thing. So please support Eric and the great people at EJD Construction. Anyway, you're going to need somebody good to do the work, right? Well, he's going to do the work for you, and you guys will be incredibly happy when it's all said and done. So thank you, Eric, out there. Appreciate you, as always, keeping it locked here. At the bottom of the hour now, here, we are going to be joined by Cameron Wolfe. So we'll have a little fun with Cam. We'll talk some sports with Cam. We'll talk some Dolphins with Cam is what we're going to do here on the program. So we'll have a little fun with him. Why don't we do this? Let's take a quick break and we'll get ready for Cameron Wolfe. We'll talk a little Dolphins football. We do that next.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
It's a beautiful thing. We promised you we're going to talk a little Dolphins football with Cameron Wolfe from ESPN, covers the Dolphins on a daily basis. And he's such a stud because he's vacationing. So he's actually taking a couple of minutes to join us here on the show away from his vacation. So what do you do? What does Cameron Wolfe do on his vacation?
Well, I'm actually finishing up. Excuse me if you hear my daughter in
You
the
got father
background.
duties going on right now? Is that what is going on?
I got father duties, so excuse me if you hear my daughter talking in the background. She's
That's
trying
awesome.
to get my attention. But no, we're finishing up the vacation. We did Jamaica about a week and a half ago. Spent a little over a week there. We did Disney World with the daughter a few days ago. So we're finally getting back, getting settled, and I got like a week left. So I'm just spending a lot of time with my daughter and trying to get this house. I just moved, so I'm trying to get this house in order. So just a lot of trips and a lot of just hanging around the family.
But what a blessing, right? Because last year at this time, you're stuck at home waiting for the season to start because you can't go out anywhere. So how nice is it, dude, that you get to go to Jamaica and you get to go to Disney World and you get to have some fun and get your mind off of things. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool, right?
It's a blessing, man. I mean, we were just trying to get out, we're trying to get outside, get out the house last year. And now it's wide open. I know we aren't fully back to normal, but it feels like it compared to where we were last year. So it's been awesome. Gotten to see a bunch of, cool sights in Jamaica. It was our first time. Disney's always a blast. It was hot, a lot of people, but hey, it's better than no one like it was last year. So yeah, man, it's all been great. You got to get that R&R before the season. The season is a rigorous time. Pretty much from July till really early May is full nonstop. So these couple months, usually in June and July, are time where you can kind of relax and get your mind away from football a little bit.
Cam, do you? And I know you haven't been here a ton of years, but I'm just wondering from what you're sensing from Dolphin fans, because I asked Omar this the other day. I want to ask you the same thing, because I have, covering the team for 31 years and being here my entire life. For me, I have more excitement about the Dolphins than I've had in over 20 years, easily. And I have hope that I haven't had hope for them the last 20 years because I've kind of always sensed it was a disaster. I never believed in any of the coaches that they hired, none of these guys. But I've been a Chris Greer guy from day one because, hell, I wanted them to fire Gase and Tannenbaum and give Greer the job, and that's what they did. And Flo, I didn't know anything from, but Flo has won me over because think about this. I was just explaining this to Omar. You guys are on the brink of covering a team because I think they'll improve again this year that has improved 3 years in a row. The Dolphins normally don't even improve 2 years in a row. Okay, so for me, Flo has really won me over. So I'm wondering, do you sense the same kind of excitement out of Dolphins compared to years past?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I obviously I haven't been here as long as you, but when I got here, the first thing I noticed is, man, this is a little bit of a pessimistic fan base. They don't want to get excited about anything. They don't want to get happy, and I understand, right? You've been burned so many times before. You want to get happy, and it's a disappointment. Everybody's waiting for the next Dan Marino era. Whether it's the quarterback or just the team being good. So you're cautiously optimistic, but I'll tell you what, I don't want to sell anybody any Wolf tickets or feel like they're, get you buying your Super Bowl tickets yet. But I do think this team actually has a vision. They're headed to the right direction. And I think you're right on the money with Brian Flores and Chris Greer in the helm. I think they've got two guys who know what they're doing and building a team and building this thing the right way. So we already saw last year where they made a bigger jump than I thought, than a lot of people thought. And I still don't think that team was super talented. I think they're more talented this year. And, it's really all up to Tua. But I think as far as the building of the team, they've done it the right way. And they still have more picks. I think it's definitely reason for Dolphins fans to be excited. I don't know that they're a Super Bowl contender yet this year. But if you're a guy who's like, hey, I just want to see this team be positive, head in the right direction, and eventually show me that they can be a championship contender, the Dolphins have definitely done that. So it's definitely a better time to be a Dolphins fan than it probably has been in a very long time.
All right, good. I'm glad you feel the same vibe I do about the Dolphins because I've always, listen, man, I pissed off a lot of Dolphin fans over the years. Like, like they hired Joe Philbin, and from the second they hire him, because I knew a bunch of people in Green Bay, and they're like, well, they hired the wrong guy, and why are they hiring this guy? He has no personality. And I would come out to tell people, hey, this guy's going to be a failure. And it's like, oh, you're just Mr. Negative, and it's like, okay, well, now I'm Mr. Positive because because I actually believe in what they're doing right now. And so the guy you mentioned, obviously, who's in the corner of our screen there, and Tua, and he's looking right now to see what you say. You look at what he's got to do this year. For me, I think it's set up for him to be really successful. Last year, no offseason. He's coming back from a career almost ending injury in his hip. The offense is not made for him. The offensive coordinator did not design an offense for him. This year, everything's been designed for him. You acquired players in free agency to fit what he does. You brought in coaches to fit what he does. You brought in a QB coach that knows him really well. He's got an off season now where he gets to work on football, not just on his body. I just think that people are going to see a much different Tua this year because I think the confidence was already there and the ability was already there. It's just physically and schematically, everything really wasn't there to complement him like it is now.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of to start with what you were talking about, I think before we even get on what our hopes and dreams are for Tua, I think that a lot of the limitations that we had for Tua in his rookie year have been sort of taken away. So for better or for worse, it's showtime, Tua.
Right.
The pressure is on. And, a lot of Dolphins fans may not like to hear it. I've talked about it a little bit this offseason, but the pressure is on Tua. For as much as I thought a lot of the offseason talk about the Dolphins replacing the quarterback was overblown, I've reported throughout the offseason that the Dolphins were focused on giving Tua another year. For all that, if Tua comes out and plays like he did last year or worse, then there are going to be some serious conversations in that building about whether he's the right guy and whether we need to move on. But that being said, there have done a lot to build around him. I thought the biggest issue last year was a lack of speed, a lack of separation, a lack of playmaking ability that Tua could really shine on. And you go get Jalen Waddle, you go get Will Fuller, you go get a duo of offensive coordinators who, Dolphins fans may be frustrated by the idea of two coordinators, but I think these two guys are younger. They're going to be more flexible. They're going to be more ideal for Tua and what he wants to do. And they're going to build this offense a little bit more centric to his skill set rather than last year where it was more of a Fitz-friendly offense. So everything that, we see about what the Dolphins have done have set Tua up to succeed. And now it's up to Tua to put the time in. And everything we've heard has been positive, outside of that 5 interception practice that got a lot of highlights. His teammates have talked positive about him. He looks stronger physically, and he feels and sounds more comfortable when he talks to us about where he is in the NFL game. So I think that, there's probably not a player in the NFL that has more pressure on him, especially a young player, than Tua. But he also had what I believe was maybe his floor of a performance last year. So if he rises up from that, leads this team to a playoff, I think there's going to be very little questions about Tua as the franchise quarterback around this time next year.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he's going to excel. How much do you think the Charlie Fry acquisition helps him?
It
overall?
helps him a lot. It helps him a lot because, whether you understand or not, quarterbacks are comfort players, right? More than any other position on the field, they're comfort players. And they have to feel comfortable. They have to feel comfortable in the offense. They have to feel comfortable with the people they're working with. And he's worked with Charlie Fry since high school, since the Elite 11 camp. This is a guy that he knows well. This is a guy who's played quarterback before, which is important. I'm not a huge, you've got to play it to teach it, but it helps, particularly at the quarterback position, if you've known how to do it. And for Charlie Fry, you're a guy who struggled. Most of Charlie Fry's career in NFL wasn't good. Let's just be frank. So yeah. He's gone through struggles. He's thrown interceptions. He knows what to do when you get booed, that sort of thing. And those are things that he can teach Tua along with the mechanics. And we talk a lot about with him as far as the aggressiveness. I think there's going to be a balance, but I think the one positive that we saw from the coaching staff with Eric Studesville, with Godsey, with Charlie, with Brian Flores, it seems like it's a focus for them to have Tua be more aggressive, and they're okay if that leads to a little bit more of turnover. So I think that's something that you've got to get the quarterback trusting what you're teaching, and it seems like Tua trusts this collection of coaching staffs more than he did last year.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm old enough because I covered the Senior Bowl where Charlie Fry played, and played really and actually had a really good week and had a good Senior Bowl game. But he was a complete lunch pail, blue collar guy. He didn't have the gifted arm and all that. He was just kind of maybe a lower end starter, but probably your ideal backup is
Right.
probably what Charlie Fry was, because he was a smart guy, but the good Lord did not bless him with great athleticism or a great arm or something like that. But his mind, it's a lot like Steve Walsh. It's a lot like some of these quarterbacks that we've seen come through the University of Miami. And I'm not talking about the Testaverdes and the Jim Kellys of the world. I'm talking about the guys like a Ken Dorsey, that they didn't have the gift of the arm or the athleticism. They were winners. And Charlie Fry was a winner in college too, but he got by with savviness, with intelligence and those kind of things. You know what I mean? I think sometimes that's Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy's incredibly smart and all of that, but the good Lord did not bless him with the body or the arm to really excel in this league. And it's really tough when you're not, because at one point or another, you've got to have a certain skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those guys become the best coaches. You mentioned a few guys. Doug Peterson was that guy too. Back up most of his career and ends up winning a Super Bowl. So you rarely can be a really talented athletic player and do well in the coaching industry, because you try to tell the players to do stuff that they can't do. Like, hey, throw the ball like this, and they're like, I can't do that. Charlie Fry can tell Tua to throw it however way he threw it, because he throws it better than him. I think all of that's an asset. I think, like everything, a lot of the bullets are going to come when they actually play on the field. But I do think that comfort with the coaching staff, comfort with the players on the field, speed with the players on the field, make this a more advantageous year. And that's before we even talk about, a full year away from the injury, a full off season in the training camp. So, I'm not one of the guys who make excuses from quarterbacks, but if you look at everything that Tua had to deal with as a rookie and kind of what the slate is now, it's completely different. And it's a lot more QB friendly setup for him to succeed. So I definitely think that this will be a better year for Tua. I think that the Dolphins believe that as well. So, but we'll all see. That's what the game's for.
Some people think I'm nuts because I always say I thought Tua had a hell of a year last year. So while some think he struggled, this and that, dude, the guy won more than he lost. He threw more touchdowns than he lost, and he came back from a hip injury that most of us couldn't go to work for the next 2 years. And he's playing NFL football, getting smashed by Michael Brockers. Okay, and no offense designed for him. He didn't play. He didn't have an off season. I mean, he had to overcome all kinds of stuff in order to have the season that he had. For me, I'm different than other people. I thought he was fantastic last year because of all the negative stuff that was lined up against him pretty much to fail. Plus, I hate to pick on the receiving core. It was probably the Dolphins' weakest receiving core in a long time, dude. I don't even know if I know of a weaker receiving core than they had last year.
No, I'll slightly disagree with you. I don't think he was fantastic, but I do think that it was overblown that he was, he had a subpar year. I think that, he really excelled in being, a game manager, a guy who takes care of the football and doesn't lose games a lot of times. And honestly, as a rookie, that's maybe your biggest struggle. He had a talented team that was leaning on his defense, and he never lost them a game. He just, couldn't make the throws a lot of times at end of game to get them there. But I think that'll come this year. I think, you mentioned a few of the things that are going to change for him. I think a lot of it probably come with just the offense being more Tua friendly. I think you talked about the receiving skill sets. I don't think there's anything wrong with Devontae Parker or Mike Gesicki or Preston Williams. I think they're good players when they're healthy. But I think all of those guys, and I've talked about the stat in my writing over the last year, all three of those guys were in the bottom 6 of separation and that's sort of a next gen stat, but essentially means how many yards you are away from a defender on an average throw. And they were in the bottom 6, all 3 among all receivers last year. And if your top 3 receivers are that low, then you're not having windows. And Tua obviously comes from Bama, where they were the opposite. They were always open. So they got to find a way to mix the gap. Tua's got to get better and throwing the tight windows, but they also need to get him some open receivers. So I think you'll do a combination of both. They got him some speed, so guys will be more open, and I think the offseason will help him trust his receivers like Devontae and Gesicki a little bit more to throw them those 50-50 balls.
All right, let's wrap it up with this so you can get back to daddy duties. And one of the listeners, I thought, sent in an exceptional question for you. He said, considering his time covering the Titans, in comparison, what is the Dolphin organization does that is better or needs to improve? And you covered a really good organization in the Titans over the years. They've been pretty damn consistent as a team and production. The Dolphins have not over the last 20 years. I think now is when they're going to build back up to getting, consistent. So when you compare the organization you left that you were covering to this organization now under these guys, what are the comparisons? Where do they fall short? Where are they excelling?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I'll start with the positive. I think that, and I've told this to a few people, I think and this probably won't help Dolphins fans as far as the on-field, but I think as far as a business perspective and a community perspective, the Dolphins have been the best organization I've covered in that respect. They know how to maximize their stadium use. Tom Garfinkel, Stephen Ross, with what they do with the F1 stadium, with the tennis, like I don't know another team that maximizes that does what they do in the community. I think that's where they're probably best in the league. As far as the negative, maybe on the field, obviously they haven't been as productive. And I think that one thing that they've lacked maybe is the star power that can drive them up to national attention as far as players, but also the culture. In Tennessee, that was a very small market, but they really put their teeth into Derrick Henry and, even at a time, Marcus Mariota, and they really dug into that culture of Derrick Henry being this machine, this tractor, and then Marcus Mariota being in the Hawaiian quarterback. And they weren't, necessarily superstars, but they really sank into that, and the fan base loved that. And you could feel that energy. And I don't think the Dolphins players have created that stardom yet, or the fans have really tied into the identity of players to really elevate them beyond their market. So I hear Dolphins fans complaining all the time, especially to me, because I work for ESPN and national outlet. Like, why don't we get more attention? Why don't we get that? Well, one, you guys haven't won anything.
Right. You got to earn it.
Win to get attention. And two, who are you going to talk about? Although you think Xavier Howard's a star on a local level, he's not a big mouth guy, for better or for worse. So he's not going to have that Jalen Ramsey impact. And defensive players in general don't tend to have the star power. So there's not an offensive star. Maybe Jalen Waddle changes that. Maybe Tua, he's the big name. If he plays well, he'll obviously change that. But you've got to have that star, or you've got to have a unique culture, whether it be the fan base or whether it be the team. You guys know, with the Dolphins, a no-name defense, their whole thing, they created a culture. None of them were names per se, great names. I mean, now they are, but at the time they weren't, but they created a culture. So, I think that's probably something that Tennessee maybe had an advantage over Miami as far as, even though they were smaller, they maximized.
Marino too. Marino with the Marx brothers and all that, the explosiveness, that star right there,
Exactly. So I think a lot of the Dolphins culture evolves in the past, Marino,
Taylor, Zach Thomas, Sam Madison, Pat Surtain. That defense was a star defense.
Exactly.
The offense had a lot to be desired, but the defense kind of, it's what you said. They earned some national recognition because of the defense, not because of anything else.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think for Dolphins to take the next step, the focus has to be more on the current Dolphins and not the past. And I think that takes time. I think honestly, it's because fans, that's the glory days. That's what you choose to remember rather than 7-9, 8-8. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, maybe on the negative standpoint. But I'll say, as far as, like I said, as far as the business, as far as the community, and really as far as like how they present themselves, game day, the new stadium, I think, is better than what the Titans have in their stadium. And I think overall, ceiling wise, although the Titans are better right now and they've gone farther, they made it to the AFC Championship a year ago. I think if I was choosing teams for the next 5 years, I would rather be the Dolphins than the Titans.
By the way, is that your own shirt?
Yeah, no, it's
The
my
Wolf
wife
Pack.
made it for me. The Wolf
There we
Pack
go.
shirt. Yeah.
All right. We got to put that out there. We got to market that, bro, and sell that.
We're working on it. Slow
right,
and steady. We're working on it.
I like it. All right. Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Cameron Wolfe. Cam, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Get back to daddy duties. Enjoy your vacation. I thank you very much.
All right, now. Have a good one. Appreciate you, Big O.
You got it, my man. Excellent conversation. There you go. Cameron Wolfe. I like it, too, because he feels the same thing I do. My man Omar doesn't feel the same excitement that I do. But I've been around this team forever, dude. I've been around this team since the 70s. And I know what excitement is, what the feeling is to believe in the Dolphins, because we had it in the 70s, we had it in the 80s, early 90s, and then it started to wane, okay? Once we lost, obviously, Shula, and I know Jimmy brought like a little excitement he never lived up to, we're going to be special, and all that crap. Because they were never special. He did leave a special defense that he left. I give him credit for that, and he fixed the cap issues. Because unfortunately, Shula inherited the beginning of the cap, and they didn't manage it very well, and he kind of left a cap mess for Jimmy. I will admit that Jimmy had to kind of work through the cap mess, too, on top of all of that. But still, overall, it's been something that has dwindled. And like Cam said, when he first got here, he was like, man, this fan base is, negative or whatever. Yeah, because, we've been getting screwed for 20 years. So, hell yeah, you're going to be negative about what's going on with the team. And for me, I just kind of feel that now I'm experiencing a different buzz about the Dolphins. And I think some fans are with me on this, that they feel confident now like they've never felt in the last 20 years, 25 years in the Dolphins. Like, more people feel confident in the coach. They feel more confident in the front office. They feel more confident now that the players are headed in the right direction. I think there's a lot of that for us, for some of us Dolphin fans. I don't know about all of you out there, but I kind of feel that buzz. I feel something different than I have in over 20 years. I really do. So I'm glad that Cam, what's it called, feels the same way I do about that. I'm glad about that. So thank you to Cameron Wolfe. Dougie Fresh, nice job by you. Good question there. Saw it on the chat board, so I figured I would ask the question there. Thank you out there as always. Remember, folks, you can always reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Email. You can also reach out to us. The email is bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Of course, you can support us with Venmo or Cash App, and it's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show is the address on both. Okay, either one. I was just going to do Big O Show on the Venmo one, but then I have to then explain one's Big O Show, one's Cash Big O Show. So I said, you know what? I'll put both Cash Big O Show. So that way, if you use the Cash App or if you use the Venmo, it's still the same Cash Big O Show. So if you want to support us there, and more importantly, folks, smash the hell out of that like button. That is so important. Smash the like button, subscribe. These are very important things. And then, of course, visit our incredible sponsors who back us up and give us the opportunity to do this every day for all of you and put together a show that hopefully you guys will be happy with. What else do I have here that I wanted to talk a little bit about? You know what? Let's do this because we are coming up here at the top of the hour. Let's get a quick break in, and then we'll start with hour number 3 because I've got some things. I'm not cutting it off as short as I normally have. Well, not short because I do 2 straight hours. It's not too bad. But give me 2 minutes here, and we will start hour number 3. I've got a couple things that I want to get off my chest that we want to talk about. We will do that next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
It's hour number 3 of the program, and Charles Cooper, man. Let's see. Wow, Charles, you are on a roll. What do we have here? Unfortunately, the Bills are even more promising than my Fins. Then he says, Dolphins don't keep players long enough to be fans of. You mean Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas didn't stay around long enough for you? Just wondering. I mean, just wondering, you know. Now, lately, there's been a lot of change, a lot of turnover. But I think from here on out, you will see the players that belong here will stay here. The regime will ship or trade anyone out regardless of talent and fan love. Well, Charles Cooper, this isn't about fan love. You know, this is about doing what's right for the team. And if Minkah Fitzpatrick is not going to follow the orders of the coach and is unwilling to actually meet his coaches halfway and do the things they need because they feel they need to do this in order to win, you got to ship his ass out. You know what I'm saying? So I disagree with you on that one. I think they're moving people that need to get moved. That's all. That's basically what it is. They're moving people that deserve to get moved. It's bottom line. These guys here are not trading people away that, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. This is a bad move. No, man, you got to do what you got to do in order to have the right culture in place and the people that want to be a part of it. The Heat will keep people around, but if you don't follow what they need you to do, they're going to ship your ass out too. There's nothing wrong with that, man. He says, excitement died in Jacksonville way back when. It's like, Charles, you are like this cumulonimbus black cloud, okay? Like really super dark gray, close to black, and it looks like the world is going to end. I've said this before to fans out there, you got to leave the past, bro. You got to leave the past. The past we're done with the past. We're done. We're done with bad coaching. We're done with bad front offices. We're done with poor leadership. You have the right leadership now. You have the right coach. I believe you have the right front office. All of these things now are starting to fall in place. They're making trades like they've never made trades before. I think they're hitting now on draft picks like they haven't hit on draft picks before. I think they're developing players now like they hadn't done in the past. I'm watching a team that starts the season and gets better as the year goes on. I can't say enough good things about what I've seen the last 2 years, but I'm not going to worry about the Cam Cameron year or the Sperano years where you're celebrating field goals. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about, Dave Wannstedt running the fingers through his hair. I just don't care about Joe Philbin picking up, papers from the floor. I'm not going to live there anymore. Why am I going to live there? That was all frustrations. And that's what I would tell you, Charles Cooper. Stop living in the past. Enjoy what is happening right in front of you right now. Okay? I also believe the Dolphins have their franchise quarterback. And I believe this young kid's going to ball out this year. And those that were negative on him, even though I thought he had a pretty damn good year last year, considering all the crap that was around him, they're all going to eat their words. But right now, there is no way any Dolphin should feel negative about the team after what we've witnessed the last 2 years under this new regime. We should feel really good about this team. We should feel like they're headed in the right direction. And I get it, Charles Cooper. You've been beaten down for over 20 years with bad football, bad decisions, poor direction, poor leadership. I get all of that, but you got to leave it in the past, man. You got to close the door and you've got to move on. You have to move on. You're not allowing yourself to enjoy what Andrew Van Ginkel has developed into in his first 2 years, and I can't wait to see his third year. You're not enjoying yourself of all these kind of moments. And hopefully when Tua takes off, you'll get to watch another young, great quarterback grow in a Dolphins uniform. But you're going to cheat yourself out of all of that if you don't take the time to enjoy what's going on, whether it's watching X grab 10 interceptions last year, Emmanuel Ogbah playing really well. Christian Wilkins has improved every single year that he's been here. All of these little things that are adding up, it's like a pyramid that you're building, and these are all building blocks to a foundation. I can't wait to watch these young linemen come in now in their second year, build up the bodies mentally. They didn't have an off season, all of that. I can't wait to watch Eichenberg play, and see if this kid who is highly touted and a lot of people in the NFL love him, like, okay, this guy is going to make a transition quickly to right tackle. I'm excited because what do we have? Maybe a guy that's going to make a quick transition like what we saw with Richmond Webb and Keith Sims that they made. I'm not comparing them. I'm not saying that they are those guys. I'm just saying the quick transition. There's a lot of things. Myles Gaskin, he was running his ass off last year. If the line is better, I know the receivers are better. I know the quarterback will be better. I can't wait to see him play. There's a lot of things to look forward to with this Dolphins team. To live in the past and to live about the negativity. And, when you started your comment with, well, they're not better than the Bills right now. Yeah, we know that. We know the Bills are the top dog right now. That's the king of the hill. That's the team that Miami has to knock off. I get all of that. Can they? Yeah, they can. But right now, you have to give the Bills their respect and their due. They are the best team right now. Hopefully in a year or two, we're saying the Dolphins are the best team in the division. There's a lot of things. The defense that this man runs, I just love watching that defense, how they change things up, how they keep people guessing, whether it's the Amila defense, how they adjust in the second half, and they make actual adjustments, something that we rarely watched and witnessed in 20 years. There's a lot of things to be positive about with the Miami Dolphins. But if you allow yourself to live in the past, you are not going to enjoy the present and the future. So you got to let it go, man. Let it go. Okay, it happened. We were bitching about it. I led the charge, bitching about all the crap that went on for many years. But I'm going to lead the charge when it's also good too. And there's a lot of good stuff going on, man. Don't cheat yourself out of these moments. I told you guys this 2 years ago when this started. Embrace this. Embrace this rebuild. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's what it's been. Where people were terrified with that first year, it ended pretty damn well. And the second year was even better. And I expect a better year this year. And I expect them to take another step forward this year. Enjoy it, man. There's a lot of good stuff, man. Let's see. What else do we have here? Man, I really hope Tua shuts up all the critics because it seems that no one in the media, with very few exceptions, believe in him at all. Well, Manuel, I'm one of them. I believe in the kid. I think he's the only thing I've ever worried about him, and I've told you guys from day one, is physically. That's it. I just worry about his injury history. That's the only thing that I am very concerned about with the young man, that his injury history rears its ugly head. I've never doubted that he can play. You know, I've never doubted it, and I won't doubt it now. I think he's going, and I think he's going to freak people out this year, Manuel. Not only is he going to play better, but people are going to go, well, dude, his arm's better. Why is it's stronger? Well, that's because his core now is back to normal again. And that's where you build that strength from the core of your body. And guess what? He had a hip injury. How can he work on his core? So now he's going to look much better. He's going to move around better. Man, we saw him last year coming back from a hip injury, fake a dude out inside the 5-yard line. He broke his freaking ankles and walked into the end zone. What do you think he's going to do now when he's healthy? And that's a guy that's fresh off an injury and still recovering from the injury. To me, it's just, this is just the best of times right now for us over the last 25 years with the Dolphins. I just want a lot of you to live in the moment and enjoy it. Forget about the past, dude. We've tortured ourselves enough with that crap. Coach Flo excites me, actually. The guy just seems focused and on point at all times. He just, you know why, NorCal? Because Flo gives you confidence. He gives you substance. He adjusts to things that are going on. He connects with his players. He makes changes when he has to. He doesn't screw around. If something's not working, he doesn't let it linger. He eliminates it and moves on and makes it. And he's willing to make tough decisions. Okay. And also, it looks to me like he's a guy that's pretty accepting of the people around him, that if they've got a good idea, he goes with it. I think this is a guy that really knows how to lead men, not just on the field, but in the locker room, in the training room, in the meeting rooms, all of those things. Flo gives you confidence, like he's got a good feel for everything going on, for his coaches, for his players. He has awareness. You know what I'm saying? That sometimes we've had coaches that just don't have that awareness at times. Flo is, he has a lot of those Shula qualities. That's why he gives you those kind of feelings of confidence. Rosendo says, "Can we all say amen? Preach, Big O." Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. I can see why, but I'm a fan of many players. Why just enjoy watching Dolphin players? You know what I mean? Yes, Matthew's talking to Rage in there. King Shore says, "Oh, spitting facts." Ian, oh, well said. Oh, let's pray for a stronger and improved offense and defensive line. That's what Rosendo says, and I think you're going to get it. Edo says, "Big O, I need your likes and concerns about the offensive line this season." Well, I love the fact that they're all young. I love the fact that you have a chance to build on all these cats. The concerns I have is that they're young and they've got to develop physically and mentally. They haven't seen everything. They don't know everything. They don't know each other, well enough yet. Plus, you're adding 2 more young guys to the line. along with the 2 veterans that you signed. So I don't know how that transition is going to happen. Will the veterans first start out and then they'll ease the young guys in, or are they going to give the young guys an opportunity right away? But I got to tell you something. I find nothing but positives about the line. The only negative is the normal negative. Okay? I don't think they're bad players. I think they're good players, but they have very little experience. So physically and mentally, they have to build all of that up now. Hopefully this year, by the way, they did have an off season. So all of those guys will come in stronger and more prepared for this season physically. But mentally, they have to see everything. They have to go through everything. They have to experience it. So that way they can cover for each other too at times. I think that's incredibly important also when it comes to the offensive line. But I love the depth on the offensive line. I love the investment on the offensive line. I'm just hoping that they hit on a bunch of these cats. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. But outside of that, I'm not really terrified about this offensive line. They're going to have to show me that they're failing right now, but it's too early to say they're successful, and it's too early to say that they're failures. But I love the investment. I love the youth movement on it. You have a chance now. This is the beauty, is you have a chance now to build something that can be there for a long time. And that's the important part. You're probably not going to end up keeping all of them if you hit on all of them, let's say, and that's a lot to hit on all of them. But if you do, you're going to probably keep some of the important ones, like the tackles, if they're really good, things like that. The center, if you can develop one, Dieter, I'm interested to see if he can develop here in year 3. This is the most important year of his career. But I love the investment in this offensive line. I am really excited about what they're going to do. Eddie says, been a Finns fan for almost 40 years. This year's my top 5 in excitement, not so much specifically for the year, but for the future. It feels like we finally turned the corner with this leadership. I'm with you, Eddie. I'm with you 100%. Big O talking about Tua. Since Fitz is gone, what is your likes about the backup QB? He's a game manager. That's all. Listen, if it gets down to him, you're going nowhere. Okay? I like Jacoby Brissett as a backup, but I don't think Jacoby Brissett in any way, shape, or form is a difference maker. He's a guy that can help keep you afloat for half of a game, for maybe a game or 2 in the season while your guy gets banged up. But unless you have the 03 Bucks, the 01 Ravens, or the 16 Broncos, okay, or the Steel Curtain, or the no-name defense, you're not winning anything with Jacoby Brissett. So if it gets down to Jacoby Brissett, the season is over. All right, let's just put it that way. All right, I like Jacoby Brissett as a backup. He's not the answer as a starter. He's just a guy to keep you afloat. Nothing more, nothing less. A backup. Let's see. Anybody that thinks Tua can't play needs to rewatch the Arizona game. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anybody that thinks that, Matthew. Troy says, what's more important for the head coach, being a leader of men or being good at X's and O's? Well, you got it. It's a little of both, because you have to have an understanding of players, Troy. So you have to be able to communicate with players when they're going through tough times. And he played the game. So he has to understand young players, veteran players, all of those kind of things. And if they have problems off the field and they're, rolling over onto your responsibilities, these are the kind of things that he's got to work through. And so he's got to be great at communicating with them. And then on the flip side, hell yeah, he's got to make a difference X's and O's, because X's and O's is everything. Because in X's and O's, you then help them win. In X's and O's, you help them reach their incentives. And so if you're helping them win and you're helping them reach their incentives and they're having success by what you're telling them to do, they will run through 8 walls for you. But the second what you're selling doesn't work, the adjustments you're making aren't working, they're not reaching their incentives, they're not winning, you lost them. So it's a combination of things. You have to have an understanding of human beings, And you also have to know how to help human beings be successful. So if you can't do both, you can't be a leader in the NFL. You just can't. You won't be able to get it done. You won't be able to sell it to them. Let's see what else is here. Herman says, "Oh, in one of those interviews, Coach Flo said he just copied and did the good things Belichick did, and he did others the way he thought they were the right way." Yeah, I mean, Herman, that's kind of part of the game. As you grow up, you steal things from other people. You know, so it's the same thing. Hey, growing up in my business, I learned from Ed Kaplan. I learned a little from Hank Goldberg. I learned a little from Joe Rose. I learned a little from Jim Mandich. Learned a little bit from Neil Rogers. And pick and choose. Take a couple of little things that influence you, things that you like that they do, and then you do it in your way, your style. That's all. I'm different than all of them. They're all different than each other. But there were still things that influenced me, and all those guys helped me do what I've done now for 30 years. Without those guys, I don't know if I last 30 years. So yeah, anything in life, if you're smart, as you're coming up, you try to learn from other people how they do things. So yeah, there's no doubt about that. You got to know X's and O's 100%. If you're also able to connect to players, you're top shelf. Yeah, that's it. No doubt. You got to have X's and O's, but you got to know human beings too. You've got to be able to connect one way or another. That's what it's all about. What else do we have? Since I have a bunch of things to talk about here that I have not gotten to, and I just was talking, with you guys about all this other stuff. It's hilarious, actually. Did you guys see Torrey Holt? Torrey Holt, he's getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So Torrey came out and declared that he and Isaac Bruce are the best wide receiver duo in the history of the NFL. And I love that on Torrey Holt's part. Listen, they were fantastic. Can't argue. When somebody asked him, well, what about Moss and Carter? He goes, well, we won a championship. And that doesn't fly because, let's be honest, I mean, Swan and Stallworth won like 4 of them, right? So that doesn't, Taylor and Rice, they won like 3, I think it was, together. We've had some pretty good combinations that have won more championships. It is so hard to say who is the best duo of wide receivers of all time, because Duper and Clayton, for me, were as good as anybody out there. Clayton, in Clayton's heyday, all right, those of us that lived football in those times, Clayton was only second to Rice. When Clayton was balling out, the only player better than him is maybe the all-time greatest player in the history of football, Jerry Rice. Yeah, I said that. Yes, it could be Rice. It could be Jim Brown. I don't know how you want to put it, but Rice is in the conversation of the greatest, not just wide receivers, one of the greatest football players of all time. He will be in that discussion. All right. But listen, why shouldn't Torrey Holt feel that way? Their offense was spectacular. It was one of the greatest offenses of all time, if not the greatest. Now that we could argue, right? San Francisco offense was a freaking machine, but that greatest show on turf offense with Oz Hakeem and Marshall Faulk and the pinpoint accuracy of Kurt Warner, are you effing kidding me, dude? That's impressive. But I love his confidence. I love his cockiness. I have no problem with him saying it. Not that I agree with him, but then again, if Duper and Clayton want to consider themselves the best, I have no problem with that. If Rice and Taylor want to do it, I have no problem with that. If Moss and Carter want to say it, which, by the way, they had a third guy in Jake Reed who was pretty damn good. Okay. That was actually a 3-headed monster. Jake Reed could play ball, man. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. I mean, those guys could argue best ever too. It's one of those where you can make cases for all of them, but it's one of those things where they all could make that claim, and it would be a fun discussion because you really can't only lean on the numbers. You can't only lean on touchdowns. You can't only lean on wins. You can't only lean on a championship. There's many ways to decipher what a lot of these pairs of wide receivers were. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny that he brought that up. I know in the article they also brought up Biletnikoff and Branch, another incredible combination that a lot of people could say, yeah, those guys also were right there with best of all time. It's interesting, but I thought, Torrey's kind of he's kind of stirred it up with all of that, and I'm sure that Randy Moss gets a hold of those comments. He's going to have his own comments about it too. GP Trap says, love the Marx Brothers. So fun to watch. They were awesome. They were so awesome, the Marx Brothers. They were as good as it gets, to be honest with you. Did you guys see that Selena Gomez, remember she ghosted Jimmy Butler? Well, she's back to dating Neymar. She went out with him briefly. It wasn't like a relationship, but apparently now she's going out with Neymar. I got to give her credit. What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you guys just this week, right? I told you how stupid this idiot Deshaun Watson is, right? That he's just calling these random women on IG to have sex or massage or whatever the hell it is. And I keep telling you that if you're these kind of people, you need to go date people that have the same amount to lose than you. And that's where I give this young lady, Selena Gomez, credit. She goes out with Jimmy. They both have a lot to lose. She goes out with Neymar. They both have a lot to lose. Super smart. Okay? It just is. In today's world, if you're a famous person, you should not be going out with regular people because we just have a dirty ass gold digging world and you just can't trust the average person. But if you're rich and famous, you should be going out with other people that are rich and famous because at least you have a better chance of meeting the human being and not somebody with obviously a hidden agenda, which a lot of times doesn't seem so hidden when it's all said and done, right? I mean, it seems pretty freaking obvious what's going on. So Selena Gomez ghosts Jimmy Butler, and she is now going out with Neymar. Got to give her credit. Oh, and Messi in Barcelona, speaking of soccer, reached an agreement on a new 5-year deal. Is he coming to Inter? We have in this town, we have our Heat zombies and we have our IMCF zombies. Because they think they're getting Cristiano Ronaldo and they're going to get Messi and they're going to get every big name coming to Miami. Meanwhile, the team's a mess. Like, why would you want to come? It's kind of like, I know the Heat aren't a mess, but if you're Bradley Beal, you're not going, that place is not better than where I'm at right now. Kawhi Leonard, why would I leave LA? What the hell's going on in Miami that's so good? Because right now Miami isn't that impressive. But it's somehow or another we have a group of fans that tend to put unrealistic importance on their team and what the reality is. And the reality is that they're not impressive right now. So they're not sexy. Inter Miami is not sexy to anybody right now. The Miami Heat are not sexy to anybody right now. If you're an elite player, you're not going, oh, yeah, that's where I'm going. No, because they don't have that team right now. So it's just there is this level of just there. Some folks are just so incredibly unrealistic about where the Heat stand. What else do we have here that I saw on the news? Oh, yes. Did you guys see Floyd Mayweather? I thought that was funny. Floyd Mayweather is trolling Conor McGregor. And I got to tell you something. There's a part of me that I hated him breaking his leg. Okay? I don't want to see anybody really get injured like that. Even a Conor McGregor who's a scumbag. But I did want to see him get his ass kicked by Poirier again. And he was on the brink of getting his ass kicked again by Poirier. And he's such a scumbag that he breaks his leg and then he's trashing Poirier and his wife. He's just a loser, bro. That I can't root for Conor McGregor. And let me tell you, it's not like Mayweather is Mr. Likeable out there, but I will say this. I love the fact that he was trolling Conor McGregor. And what was it that he called it? Do the stanky leg. So he tweets out a picture of Conor sitting at a chair and the foot is bent the way he puts out the tweet, right? So it's I mean, you see the foot. Wait a minute. There you go. You can see it better that way. Look at that. And he also tweeted out a winning ticket. He bet 50, I think it was $50,000 and won 35, I believe. The ticket cost him $50,000 and he won 35,714. So he also, tweeted out, "Thanks for getting me paid." So he also bet it, which I would have bet on Poirier too if I was in Vegas. Not only am I rooting for Poirier to kick this scumbag's ass, but I'm also gonna cash in if I can. So if I'm in Vegas, I'm definitely gonna cash in. Can we hurry up and get sports betting in here in South Florida already? Huh? Come on, man. Let's go. Let's get this sports betting in here in South Florida. But I love that he was trolling his ass. And you know what? I don't want to see Poirier McGregor 4. Khabib yesterday was like, the UFC needs to move on from this guy. He's a terrible person. And it's hard to argue with anything that Khabib was saying. He's right. He's right about Conor. He's a terrible person. It's a scumbag that hits old men in bars. There's a guy that throws a truck. What's that called? It's what's that? It's whatever, the dollies or whatever it's called, something truck, right? It's called hand truck, right? Isn't it a hand truck? And he throws a hand truck through the window of a bus where the glass shatters all over the place and actually injured some folks. I mean, somebody got like glass in their eye and everything. Everybody was all right eventually. In the end, there were some cuts and stuff, but it could have been a lot worse. This guy is a complete lowlife. And yet he gets all this pub and he gets all this attention. And I know he was successful selling his, whiskey or whatever it was. Whatever, dude. There's no part of me that can root for Conor McGregor. I will definitely root for him to get his ass kicked every single time. In fact, he can't get it. The good thing about him trying to come back is that maybe he can come back to just take another ass whooping. That would be the best part. That would be perfect. Even the Paul brothers, I think it was Jake Paul, came out and said, I offered him $50 million once to fight. Now it's down to $23. It's kind of what he put. And he also had a little Conor McGregor necklace, Paul. He said he was going to send it to Poirier. He also said he tried to break the leg off, but he said it was much more sturdier than Conor's leg. And which I don't know enough about this fighting game myself, like my man Alex Dono, who's a beast at this. I got to figure also that his career is over. He can't kick anymore. Once you break it like that, I don't see you kicking anymore the same way with that leg. I don't see that leg coming back to the point where you're going to be confident enough that it's not going to break again. And these guys are brutal in that sport, dude. When you've got the kind of leg that you could just keep whipping somebody, and I'm not breaking any news here. You guys have seen guys that have folded because their legs are so beat up from getting kicked during the match. And they lose their balance, they lose their strength, all of that, because their legs are beaten up. You know they're going to go after that leg right away, and he's not going to be able to kick with that leg. I can't see him actually going back to in the octagon and being successful with that leg again. Again, I will say this: it couldn't happen to a bigger scumbag than Conor McGregor. That is one dude that I will never ever in my life pull for. Can't have him wanting to have success. I can't want to see him have success. Let's put it that way. What else was I going to tell you guys? Oh, one more thing. I know sometimes I like to talk some crypto on the show. Space Jam, I don't know if you guys know this, but they are producing 91,000 NFTs that they are going to sell. Now, I just want to say something about NFTs because a lot of people have been buying NFTs, and I'm not going to claim to be some kind of an expert in all of this. But I want to warn any of you out there that are getting into the NFT stuff. I think most of these NFTs, and I'm talking about like 97% of these NFTs, they're a waste of money. They're not going to go up in value. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to get rich on this stuff. There are so many out there. I just don't see it getting value. I think very few NFTs, maybe even less than 3%, are actually going to gain in value. So for those of you that are out there investing in these NFTs, now if you're buying one because you're just, like what I do, if I get some memorabilia, right? Like I've got this big ass Julius Erving poster that I have framed and laminated and all that stuff to protect it. And I've had it for, I don't know, about 20 years now. I've had it. No, about 15, actually. It's been about 15. I would never sell it. You know what I mean? I have no interest in selling. I got it because I want it for myself. That's it. I'm not getting it because it's a collector's item. Then I'm going to try to, I don't do any of that stuff. I have, look, that's a Dwight Stevenson signed helmet right there. He autographed it for me. I have no interest in ever selling this helmet. Ever. Okay? So, it's Dwight Stevenson and it's Manny Fernandez on the other side. Zero interest in trying to sell that. Oh, can's about to fall. There we go. Anyway, so zero interest because I collect them. So if you're buying the NFT because you love the athlete, the entertainer, whatever it is, the painting or whatever, that's cool. That's fine. But I just want to warn you all out there that if you're buying the NFT because you think it's going to go in and just skyrocket, I just want to warn you that more often than not, those NFTs are not going to be worth a lot of money. You're going to lose money, in other words, when it's all said and done. So be very, very, very careful with the NFTs that you're buying out there, okay? They just, I don't know. Imagine Barry Sanders with Dan Marino. It almost happened. Yeah, no, you're right. Imagine Larry Zonka with Dan Marino. The UFC is definitely not for me. Well, it's not for everybody. Anderson Silva was never the same after he broke his leg the way Conor did. Yeah, no, I could imagine. Yeah. James Gonzalez is on email is asking me if I saw crypto.com be a part of, he goes, oh, did you see the logo in front of the UFC fighters t-shirts last weekend, crypto.com? Yeah, I saw it, James. I knew about the deal that they cut with UFC. I keep telling people crypto's the future, bro. It's just people will fight the future. They will fight. They've done this for hundreds of years. Okay, the people that don't know and you're ignorant, and so you'll fight it, and then eventually it takes over. The internet was also a joke, and then your life is all on the internet now. Everything is run by the internet. Your alarm, everything is run by the internet nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I saw it, James. Thank you for the email as always. Appreciate you. Very kind. All right, we are going to wrap it up here on the show. We thank all of you, as always, for tuning in and keeping it locked here. We want to thank, of course, Michael Lee for joining us on the show. We want to thank Cameron Wolfe also. Excellent job by them. We will return tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. with another program. We thank all of you out there, as always, for tuning in. Remember, you can visit our sponsors. Reach out to us on email at bigoradioshow.com. Make sure you smash the hell out of that like button, whether you're podcasting, whether you're watching it right now on YouTube or later on you're watching it on YouTube. Please smash the like button. That is incredibly important. Visit our sponsors. And, of course, you can also support us with Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show is the address. Cash Big O Show. If you want to reach out to us, y'all be good. I love you all. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.